Chapter 53-52. The Great Firmament Festival. Biming felt frustrated, but also a little proud. Although these idiots were a little stupid, they were not ordinary things. His little wife was able to contract them, which meant that his little wife was very powerful. Biming did not know about the previous lightning tribulation. When he found out, he had already received Yin Chujia's voice transmission talisman, so he was not in a hurry to come over. However, it was a lie to say that he was not worried. Now that Yin Chujia was not only fine, but her cultivation had also increased by a lot, he was finally relieved. "Why are you so angry? Who provoked you?" Yin Chujio asked in a blaming tone. She hugged Biming's neck, her little feet clamped on his legs, and all the weight of her body was on him. Biming's body froze. He did not answer her. Instead, he lowered his head and kissed her pouting lips. It was only when Yin Chujio was out of breath that Biming let go of her. The resentment in his heart towards Goei Batsao was extremely strong. He should not have dispersed it just now. He should have let it kneel on the ground to atone for its sins. Biming carried Yin Chujio and placed her on the bed. He laid beside her and felt that this moment of silence was so beautiful. There was no endless pursuit, no painstaking planning, and no pain that he missed but could not see. It was great. "Prince Charming, you haven't answered my question just now. Why do I feel that you are a little angry today?" Yin Chujio asked. Biming naturally would not say that he was wrong, or that he was jealous of a few idiots. He said calmly, "I found some news, so I'm a little impatient." "What news?" Yin Chujio curiously widened her eyes. The Divine Devil Hall has been organizing the Great Firmament Gathering recently. They want to invite all the forces in the Great Firmament continent to attend. It must be a big conspiracy. Great Firmament Gathering? Yin Chujio narrowed her eyes. The Divine Devil Hall was trying to stir up trouble. Unlike the situation in other continents, the Divine Devil Hall was hidden in the dark, and everyone wanted to beat them up. In the Great Firmament continent, the Divine Devil Hall was a force that could see the light, and their reputation was not too bad. Therefore, if the Divine Devil Hall could find a gimmick to attract people, this heavy cloud festival would definitely attract many people to attend. "Oh right, Male God. I didn't tell you about Mount Meru in detail in the voice transmission talisman. I found a huge secret in it." Yin Chujio told him the things recorded in the sheepskin scroll, and then said, "Male God, do you think the Divine Devil Hall and the Divine Devil race are related?" Biming was also very surprised. The Divine Devil race and the Divine Devil race were both descendants of the Divine Devil race? He thought for a moment and said, "Regardless of whether there is a connection or not, the Divine Devil Hall Master's strength will be quite terrifying. In the future, you must be more careful and not be careless." Yin Chujio nodded and said curiously, "What do you think is recorded in the second half of the sheepskin scroll? I always feel that the secrets contained in it are even more shocking than the first half." Biming naturally did not know what was recorded in the second half of the scroll, but he felt a little uneasy. Why did little Jiu always encounter some strange things? Why did little Jiu's blood contract with Yin Yi? He recalled Qi Ying's words that the two of them were enemies in their previous lives, and he could not help but tighten his arms around Yin Chujio. No matter what would happen, he would not separate from little Jiu, and no one could separate them. Yin Chujio was so smart. Seeing Biming's expression and behavior, he could guess what he was thinking. He lightly pecked on the corner of his mouth and said, "No matter what will happen in the future, we will never separate. If you dare to betray me, I will castrate you." A certain someone's face was stiff, and he subconsciously tightened his legs. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 53-53. Although a certain someone felt that his wife was too fierce, he also felt that she was so cute and playful. He felt that there was an 80% chance that his brain was damaged. However, when he saw such a fierce Hei Shinjio, the uneasiness in his heart disappeared because he believed that no matter what happened, his little wife would never give up on him. It was really good. He could not help but kiss Hei Shinjio again. Hei Shinjio pouted and complained, "You only know how to take advantage of me. I'm talking business with you." Business? He thought. Having sex was the most important business. Damn Goei Batsao. Suppressing the urge to tear He Xinjiu apart and eat her up, he said. I'm here to remind you not to attend the Chongxiao Gala. He knew He Xinjia's personality too well. She would always stir up trouble whenever she was free. It would be weird if she did not go to such a lively event, like the Great Firmament Territory Assembly. Therefore, as soon as she got the news, she rushed to stop her. He Xinjiu rolled her eyes. My idol, I have to go to the Great Firmament Territory Assembly. Before Di Baiming could speak, she continued. Firstly, I'm not the same as I was in the past. Although my cultivation is not the best, it's not bad either. I can protect myself. Secondly, I've already provoked the bitter Zen sect and the Qi family to have some small conflicts with the Divine Devil Hall. If I continue to stir up trouble at the Grand Firmament Gathering, I might be able to stir up the situation even more. Thirdly, I might be able to gain something from seeing the Divine Devil Hall's lair in the Great Firmament Continent. After all, our battle with the Divine Devil Hall has just begun. Only by knowing ourselves and our enemies can we survive 100 battles. Moreover, don't we still have you? I'm in the open while you're in the dark. This way, the Divine Devil Hall will be able to take care of one thing and lose the other. It will be advantageous for us to find a suitable opportunity to strike. Even though Yin Chujio was telling the truth, Di Baiming still did not relent. No matter what, he would not allow her to participate in the Chongxiao Convention. This was because the Chongxiao Convention was clearly a conspiracy. How could he bear to let her take the risk? However, in the end, a certain someone was sobbed by He Xinjiu. Sigh. A certain someone sighed. He just couldn't bear to see her tears. Although he knew that he shouldn't agree, he still couldn't bear to let her continue crying. Seeing that a certain someone had relented, He Xinjiu immediately broke into a smile. Prince Charming, don't worry. Only Old Fox and Lon Dimeo know that I broke through to the peak of level 6 of the Spirit Extinguisher realm. Even Lung Yun and the others don't know what my cultivation is. When the time comes, I'll adjust my cultivation to the 2nd level of Spirit Extinguisher. I'll pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger and play with those dregs to death. Di Baiming looked at her eyes that were as bright as the stars and felt his heart beat rapidly. He wished that he could hide the person in front of him and not let anyone see him, so that he wouldn't be coveted by others. However, there was still the great worry of the Divine Devil Hall and many unknown dangers. Both he and Little Jiu couldn't stop moving forward. Although it was already very late, the two of them could not bear to go to sleep. This was because they did not have much time to spend together. They did not want to waste even a quarter of an hour. In the end, it was only after Di Baiming promised to leave 2 days later that Yin Chujio finally fell asleep in his arms. Due to Di Baiming's presence, Buttface and the rest were extremely obedient. They were afraid that if Sha Xing was unhappy, he would kill them. Yin Chujio looked at their cowardly expressions and said sourly, Male God, although you are Sheng Zun, I am the ghost ancestor and demon ancestor, right? Why are Buttface and the others afraid of you but not of me? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-54. When Di Baiming saw her angry look, he couldn't help but smile. I don't know why it happened either. If you want to know the reason, you can ask Buttface and the others. Yin Chujio immediately made Buttface, Goei Batsao, and Buddha's candle stand in a row and asked, What do you think is the reason? The three of them glanced at each other, but no one said anything. Yin Chujio was furious when she saw this. This was a blatant act of going against her. She pointed at Buttface with her finger. You speak first. Why did she let Buttface speak first? It rolled its eyes and immediately said obsequiously, Little fairy, it's not that I'm not afraid of you, but that I'm closer to you. In front of people close to me, I can't help but be a little presumptuous. In fact, I'm very afraid of you. Although Yin Chujio felt that it was lying, she had to say that this scheming dog was getting better at talking. Yin Chujio decided to let Dog 2 off. She looked at Buddha's candle and said, Clown candle, speak. Buddha's candle did not have Dog 2's scheming and eloquence. It stuttered. Because compared to you, my cultivation level is higher than yours, and am also more dignified than you. Yin Chujio. It pierced her heart. It was too piercing. This clown candle was saying that she was a useless snack without dignity. Very well, she would remember it. Buttface, who was standing at the side, was overjoyed. This Buddha's candle was really stupid. But it was no wonder. It was just a candle wick, so it naturally did not have so many tricks up its sleeve. Yun Chujio glared at the Buddha's candle with a gloomy face, then looked at the kneeling Goei Batsao. Goei Batsao knew that it was not favored by a certain someone, so in order to avoid the fate of being scattered again, it felt safer to kneel. When it saw that Yun Chujio asked about it, the fellow shook its leaf, indicating that it could not speak. At this time, the fellow was extremely glad that it could not speak, or else it would not get any benefits no matter what it said. Yun Chujio glared at it, and released Hun Dun. Although Hun Dun had grown a layer of short fur, it was still wearing its beloved green sweater. When it heard Yun Chujio's question, its eyes that had no eyeballs flashed and said, "I don't know how old other people are, but I instinctively feel that he is very dangerous, so I don't dare to provoke him." Hun Dun originally wanted to say Lao Zi, but when he saw a certain deity's cold gaze, he forcefully swallowed his words. Yun Chujio felt that Hun Dun's answer was more reliable. Demonic beasts were naturally sensitive to danger. In that case, other than the identity of Sheng Zun, the pretty boy must have other identities. What exactly was it? Yun Chujio rewarded Hun Dun with an exquisite comb. Then, she did not bother with these silly cuties, but started talking to Di Biming. Hun Dun took the hairbrush and happily combed his remaining long hair. He felt that he was very beautiful. Goei Batsao, Buttface and Buddha's candle were instantly unhappy when they saw Hun Dun's smug look. A fool who treated a cuckold as his treasure actually wanted to compete with them for his pet? He was really courting death. Hence, for the first time, the three of them worked together to take care of Hun Dun. For a moment, the courtyard was in chaos. Due to the loud noise, a certain lord could not hear He Xinjia's words clearly. His face immediately darkened. "Shut up." Immediately, the four of them were as quiet as chickens. Goei Batsao even knelt on the ground. It was never wrong to have a good attitude. Yun Chujio could not help but feel a little frustrated. Was this her spiritual pet, or the spiritual pet of the gigolo? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-55 Spiritual pets were used for battle. Di Biming glanced at them and summoned the little yellow dragon. Then he said to Yun Chujio, "Your contract with them is not for fun. It's for battle. You can't let them have too much control. The little yellow dragon's cultivation is higher than theirs, because I'm more strict with them." The little yellow dragon looked at the four on the ground with an arrogant expression, but it felt extremely bitter in its heart. If it had known that it was following a cold-blooded pervert, it would have acknowledged this little girl as its master no matter what. Even if it acknowledged Xue Wuji, it would still be stronger than the pervert in front of it. Why did its cultivation level increase so quickly? That was because it would have died tens of thousands of times if it hadn't increased its cultivation level. This fiend really did not care about its life and death. It directly threw it into a group of demonic beasts and left it to fend for itself. If it was not for its tough skin and thick flesh, it would have died long ago. When Yun Chujio saw that the little yellow dragon's cultivation was actually about the same as hers, she immediately looked at the four on the ground and the group of people in the spirit beast pouch that were not pleasing to the eye. The pretty boy was right. She was too soft-hearted. She was too protective. That was why these people were so weak. She had to think of a way to train them. Buttface blinked his dog eyes and felt that he had to say something. Otherwise, he was afraid that his life would be worse than death for the rest of his life. That little fairy, there's some misunderstanding here. The Divine Dragon Clan's combat strength is already stronger than other demon beasts. Moreover, the venerable spirit beast is an ice dragon. This is very beneficial to the little lecherous dragon that he has contracted with. And your spiritual beast was previously that dumbass De Hua. Now it's the weirdo Goei Batsao. So it's understandable that we're so weak. Goei Batsao was immediately unhappy. You're a weak chicken, yet you still want to cheat on me? Shameless. It directly sent Buttface flying with a leaf of grass. Di Biming did not blame Goei Batsao this time, because he felt that Buttface needed to be whipped. He only knew how to find objective reasons, but he did not look for his own reasons. No wonder for such a long time, the majestic ancient ferocious beast had no ability other than its mouth. He thought for a moment and said, "Right now, the divine devil hall's energy is mostly used in planning the great firmament feast. They won't send people to chase me for the time being. They'll accompany you to bring these idiots to train. Only when they become stronger will they be able to help you. I can also feel at ease." Yin Chujio could not wait to spend more time with Beiming, so she immediately agreed. Buttface, who was limping in, suddenly felt that there was no hope for beast life. It's over, it's definitely going to suffer." Yin Chujio immediately sent a voice transmission talisman to the Lan family's patriarch, saying that she would go out for a walk with Beiming for 2 days. The patriarch of the Lan family did not say anything, only telling her to be careful. Beiming and Yin Chujio chose to train in the Chasing Sun Forest, which was only a day's journey away from the imperial city. Even if there was danger, the two of them could still retreat back to the imperial city. Yin Chujio released all the dumb cuties, saying that each of them had to kill 3 demonic beasts that met the conditions, or else they would be punished. Forget about the other dumb cuties, Buttface was worried to death. It only knew how to make noises. Was it going to kill 3 demon beasts? "Buttface, why don't you beg me? Maybe you'll be kinder and help you kill 3 demon beasts." Hun Dun looked at it proudly and said, although its fur hadn't grown yet, with the green sweater, the side effects of the fruit sprinting were much better. It was not a problem to kill 3 demon beasts. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-56. Buttface, who received He Xinjia's true teachings, hearing Hun Dun's words. Buttface's eyes immediately lit up. "Brother Hun Dun, I knew you were the most loyal. You are indeed a strange male with green light." Pfft! He Xinjio burst into laughter. A strange male with green light? How could it say that? She did not expect Hun Dun to find what Buttface said very pleasing to the ear. He said proudly, "You know your place. If you comb my long hair for 3 months, I will help you catch 3 demon beasts. How about it?" Just as Buttface was about to agree, a cold voice sounded. "You have to finish it with your own ability. Otherwise, I will throw you into the beast lair directly." Buttface was both afraid and hateful, but he did not dare to talk back. He could only look at He Xinjio imploringly. Buttface was only a puppy at the moment. His big wet eyes were begging, which could easily make people's hearts soften. If it were in the past, Yin Chujio would definitely help it plead for mercy. But now, she felt that a jade that was not polished would not become a good thing. So she pretended not to see it. Seeing that Yin Chujio did not respond, Buttface could only turn back 3 times and walk into the depths of the Chasing Sun Forest. An hour later, the silly cuties returned one after another. Yin Chujio counted and found that one was missing. It was Buttface. Could it be that this guy was in some kind of danger? Just as Yin Chujio was worried, she saw Buttface swagger back with a bunch of demonic beasts. Yin Chujio couldn't believe her eyes. How did this guy do it? Buttface looked smug and said to the demonic beasts behind him, "Hurry up and kneel to the little fairy. Otherwise, not only you, but also your kids will die." When the demonic beasts heard this, they indeed knelt on the ground and begged for mercy and fear. Yin Chujio. Beiming's face stiffened. Why was this scene so strangely familiar? It seemed that this Buttface had received the true teachings of his little wife. Yin Chujio was also dumbfounded. She asked with her divine sense, "Buttface, what's going on?" Buttface immediately said with his spiritual sense, "Little fairy, you know that I'm just a weak chicken. I can't hunt demon beasts at all. But I had an idea. I followed your usual practice and fooled these demon beasts." Yin Chujio. Should she cry or laugh? How did you fool them? It's very simple. I scared them. Little fairy, you and your majesty brought many perverts to hunt demonic beasts. If they don't follow me and kneel down to you, not only will they lose their lives, even their little cubs will die. They believe you just because you said so? Yin Chujio asked suspiciously. I brought them to watch the white tiger's hunting scene, and they were terrified. What is this called? Yes, a fox uses the tiger's power. It's also called taking advantage of the situation. Ha ha ha. Little fairy, am I very smart? Buttface was very smug. Yin Chujio. Why did she feel that Buttface's style was so friendly and so familiar? Beiming watched from the side. Although he didn't know what the two were talking about, he had a pretty good guess. He said calmly, Little Gio, this test isn't difficult for them. Just throw them into the beast's nest. Yin Chujio couldn't bear it, but she gritted her teeth and agreed when she thought of the little perverted dragon's cultivation. Hence, Beiming threw the dumb cubs into different beast nests. Yin Chujio was worried about Buttface, so she quietly hid in the dark to observe. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-57 had reached the peak of dog life. Beiming shook his head. Little Gio, you don't have to worry so much. Buttface was a ferocious beast, Cheongqi. Although he looked weak now, he would have ways to save his life when the time came. If I don't force him, he will never improve. Although Yin Chujio knew what Beiming said made sense, she was still worried when she thought that Buttface was just a silly puppy. At this moment, Buttface in the beast nest was surrounded by several huge demon beasts that were drooling. Wait! I can't run away anyway, why are you so anxious? Well, I'm only so small, and there are so many of you. Can you discuss who will eat me? Buttface shouted. This guy thought that the little fairy would do this when she encountered such a situation. She would sow discord and make them kill each other. Haha, Dog 2 wasn't like other idiots who wanted to use force to solve problems. It only needed to use its brain and its mouth. Just as it was feeling proud, it saw a demon beast that was obviously bigger than the other demon beasts open its bloody mouth and pounce at it. The other demon beasts didn't have any objections. Obviously, this demon beast was their leader. Buttface's head immediately buzzed. Why did it not follow the usual pattern when it was here? Naturally, it would not sit still and wait for death. It wanted to escape. Unfortunately, it had only taken 2 steps when it was kicked back by a demonic beast. It just happened to land at the feet of the demonic beast leader. Yin Chujio wanted to attack immediately, but Beiming shook his head. Seeing this, Yin Chujio could only watch nervously. Dog 2 felt that it was 80% certain that it would not survive because the demonic beast leader's bloody mouth was already within reach, and it would eat it in an instant. It did not expect that a mighty ferocious beast like it would die in such an aggrieved manner in the end. It did not want to die. If it died, wouldn't the throne of the number 1 spiritual pet be given to Gowei Botsao and the others? If it died, wouldn't Peach Blossom, that infatuated female, be given to the little perverted dragon? No. It couldn't die. It still had to defend the throne of the number 1 spiritual pet. And it also had to be together with Peach Blossom's bunch of puppies. Buttface felt as if something inside his body was recovering. Just as the demon beast leader was about to bite him, Buttface's body suddenly enlarged. And with a swipe of his paw, he smashed the demon beast leader into a pile of meat paste. His huge wings flapped, and the other demon beasts in the nest swayed from side to side. The demonic beasts were scared out of their wits. No matter what, they couldn't associate the killing god in front of them with that weak puppy from before. What the hell was that? Buttface's huge eyeballs swept across them. Kneel down. Call me Grandpa. In fact, even without it saying anything, the demonic beasts were already so scared that their legs went limp and they laid on the ground. Forget calling them Grandpa. They were even willing to call their ancestors. However, they couldn't speak human language, so they could only make trembling cries. Dog 2 looked at the demonic beasts kneeling at its feet and felt very comfortable. It had been a long time since it had experienced such a comfortable feeling. Haha, who else wasn't convinced? Who else dared to compete with it for the pet? Who else dared to compete with it for the female? Fuck it. Buttface felt that he was about to walk up to the peak of dog life. This fellow rolled his eyes and decided to teach that idiot Hun Dun a lesson. Therefore, he did not bother about those trembling demon beasts, and waved his huge wings to seek revenge on Hun Dun. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-58. Kneel down and call me Sir. Yin Chujio looked at Buttface, who was far away, and was dumbfounded. Prince Charming, I am not dreaming, am I? Buttface he. Let's go and take a look, Beiming said. Although he thought that Buttface would display some instincts under danger, he did not expect it to directly turn into its original form, so he was quite surprised. The two immediately followed behind Dog 2, ready to see what it wanted to do. Dog 2 quickly found Hun Dun. Although Hun Dun had a green sweater as a protective color, it was huge and had obvious characteristics, so it was very easy to find. Hun Dun had just killed the demon beasts in the nest, so when he saw Dog 2 land in front of him, he couldn't help but be stunned. You have returned to your original form? Buttface proudly shook his huge head. You blind fool. Since you have seen it, why are you asking such an idiotic question? Hurry up and kneel down and call me master. Otherwise, I will pluck all your remaining long hair. Hun Dun was so angry that he kept twitching. However, his long hair had not grown out yet, so he was not a match for Buttface. He could only swallow his anger and say, "Don't go too far, or I will not let you go." Buttface never knew what it meant to quit when the time was right. He said smugly, "Won't let me go? Just because you're bald." TSK, I've been holding back some words for a long time. I've never seen a fool like you. You're still happy with your cuckold on your head. You're so stupid. Also, it's not your fault that you're ugly, but it's your fault that you came out to scare people. If I looked like you, I would have found a piece of tofu and killed myself. Hun Dun was so angry that he was about to explode. Just as he was about to open his mouth and sing to confuse Buttface, he was slapped in the face by Buttface's wings. You still want to sing to confuse your grandpa? Your grandpa is so smart. Will he let you have your way? Besides, you don't have any hair left, and your lousy singing won't be able to confuse your grandpa. Buttface said arrogantly. Hey Shinjio, who was hiding in the dark, twitched her mouth. This Buttface had fully demonstrated what it meant to be a villain getting his way. Seeing that he was no match for Buttface, Hun Dun felt that he should not be taken advantage of, so he roared in grief and indignation. Master! Can I call you master? Buttface felt extremely comfortable. This feeling was simply wonderful. Come, let's hear 2 more barks, Buttface said smugly. Hun Dun was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Just as he was about to do so, he saw Buttface's body rapidly shrink, as if he had lost his breath. In the blink of an eye, he had turned into an earthen yellow puppy. Hun Dun was stunned at first, then he gritted his teeth and sneered. Buttface, how dare you threaten me? Kneel down and call me grandpa, and oh ancestor. Buttface looked at his short claws and felt a buzz in his head. Why did he change back? Where was the peak of dog life? Was it over just like that? If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have come to take revenge on Hun Dun. Instead, he should have gone to see the female flower addict, and let her see that he was 10,000 times more powerful than that little lecherous dragon. What a miscalculation! Just as Buttface was regretting his decision, Hun Dun pressed him to the ground with one paw. Call me ancestor. Buttface had always been flexible. He bared his teeth and said obsequiously, Buttface pays his respects to ancestor. Ancestor, your green sweater is so beautiful. It makes you look even more majestic. Hey Shinjio, who was hiding in the dark, could not bear to look at him. Buttface probably did not know what shamelessness and moral integrity were at all. He was too shameless. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53-59. For Seasons City Yin Chujio asked Beiming in a low voice. Prince Charming, why did Erguzi change back? I guess it's similar to how you stimulated your potential when you were stimulated. Naturally it won't last long, Beiming guessed. Then can it develop other abilities? It's hard to say. Its condition is different from other spirit pets. Let's wait and see. In the next few days, Beiming and Yin Chujio let the dumb cubs train. Although they were sometimes injured or even severely injured, their growth speed was also very shocking. Of course there were exceptions, and that was Buttface. Since the last transformation, this guy had been sick. Not only did his body become very weak, but he also shed his hair. Seeing that it was about to become bald, Dog 2 simply did not want to live anymore. Was this punishment for mocking Hun Dun? How would it face the peach blossoms in the future? Seeing it like this, Yin Chujio could not let it train anymore. In any case, at the critical moment, this fellow could at least stimulate its potential and save its own life. Yun Chujio originally wanted to let Dumb Ming train for a few more days, but on this day, she received a voice transmission talisman from the Lan family's ancestor. An invitation from the Divine Devil Hall had arrived. Hence, Di Baiming sent Yun Chujio back to the imperial city and left. Yun Chujio immediately went to the Lan family's ancestral residence and met the ancestor of the Lan family. The ancestor of the Lan family directly handed the invitation to her. Yun Chujio took it over and took a look. The corners of her mouth curled up. The Divine Demon Hall had found a good gimmick. This Great Firmament event not only invited the various major factions of the Great Firmament continent, but the various major factions of the Divine Enlightenment continent would also send representatives to attend. Those who performed well could obtain the qualifications to directly ascend to the Divine Enlightenment continent. This pie could be said to be very fragrant. What could be more tempting than the bait to ascend directly? Even if they knew that there might be something fishy going on at the Great Firmament world, they would still go to the Great Firmament world like moths to a flame. What do you think? The ancestor of the Lan family asked indifferently. It's obvious that the Divine Devil Hall doesn't have good intentions. However, we still have to go to such a big pie. However, we still have to make the necessary preparations when we go back, Yun Chujio said with a chuckle. The ancestor of the Lan family also had the same plan. He immediately discussed it with Yun Chujio. In fact, the so-called preparations not only required them to bring more guards, but they also required them to arrange for a large group of people to be on standby nearby in case anything unexpected happened. Of course, they also needed to inform the Zen sect so that both parties could work together and feel more at ease. Apart from that, Hei Shinjio secretly instructed Lung Yun and the others to use some means to obtain the identity documents of the commoners. They then rushed to the venue of the Great Firmament event in advance, the Four Seasons mountain range. After the arrangements were made, the ancestor of the Lan family also led the Lan family members to the Four Seasons mountain range. The Four Seasons mountain range was located at the southernmost tip of the Great Firmament continent. It was the lair of the Divine Devil Temple. Of course, this lair was only the lair of the Divine Devil Temple in the Great Firmament continent. As the name implied, although the Four Seasons mountain range was the same mountain range, the weather of different mountain peaks was different in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The Flying Spirit Tool traveled for nearly 10 days before the Lan family arrived at the Four Seasons mountain range and entered the Four Seasons city. The Divine Devil Hall had been operating in the Four Seasons mountain range for several years. The surroundings were very prosperous, especially in the Four Seasons city, which occupied an area the size of 10 imperial cities. Yun Chujio looked around and asked the little black bird to pass on a message to Qiying. Xiao Hanyo, we have arrived at your old nest. Do you want to visit again? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5360. Sneaking away, Qiying was lying in a corner of the spirit beast pouch as a corpse. When he heard Xiao Hanyo's words, he did not even lift his eyelids. At this moment, his heart was as dead as ash, and he did not want to speak. He finally understood that this pervert would not let him go free. If he had known this would happen, he would have stayed in the ghost realm back then. Perhaps he would already be together with Chuemo. Seeing that Qiying did not reply, Yun Chujio did not continue to tease him. She had to keep this trump card well. It might be useful in the future. The ancestor of the Lan family had sent someone to book an inn in advance. Hence, when the Lan family arrived at Four Seasons City, they went straight to the inn to rest. Lan Luofeng came in front of Yun Chujio and said excitedly, "Little Jiu, this Four Seasons City is much bigger than the Imperial City. Let's go out and have a look." When Yun Chujio entered the city, she saw several snack shops and immediately hit it off. Taking advantage of the fact that the Lan family's ancestor was busy greeting people, she sneaked out of the inn with Lan Luofeng. When Lan Luomu and the others saw this, they also sneaked out together. Although Yun Chujio had adjusted her spiritual power to the first level of spirit extinguisher, It was still much higher than Lan Luomu and the others. They now followed her even more. Surrounded by the crowd, Yin Chujio swept through a few snack shops. With a string of candied haws in her hand, she was in a good mood. "Little Joe, it's not time yet. Should we go in and eat something?" Lan Luofeng smelled the fragrance coming from the restaurant next to her, and said with a little bit of appetite. Snacks were good for eating, but they didn't resist hunger. Yin Chujio sniffed, waved the candied haw in her hand, and led everyone into the restaurant. Since there was no private room, everyone found a window seat on the first floor. Although it was a bit noisy, they didn't really care. Soon the dishes were served one after another. Everyone ate and chatted, and it was very pleasant. When everyone was about to finish eating, the noise in the room suddenly quieted down. Everyone was curious, and only then did they realize that a few people had entered the door. Leading the group were two middle-aged men. They did not look good, but their auras were very strong. The two of them each had two women in their arms. Both of them were good-looking, and there were a few beautiful maids following behind them. Lan Luoyan had always been well-informed. She lowered her voice and said to the crowd, "That woman in pink is Qi Tianxiao from the 5th house of the Qi family, and that person in purple is Mu Zixia from the 3rd house of the Mu family. It's really strange. The two of them have always been proud people. Why did they follow those two people?" Yin Chujio frowned when she heard that. She found that the two middle-aged men were both at the 5th level of the spirit extinguisher realm. What was the background of these two people? How could they make Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixia commit themselves to them? At this moment, one of the men looked at Yin Chujio and the others. He smiled evilly at the other man and said, "Senior brother Lu, look at the three girls over there. They are really pretty, especially that oval-faced girl. Her figure is really not bad." The other man also revealed a malicious smile. "I like the one next to her. Although her figure is not good, her small appearance is really not bad." The oval-faced girl in their mouths was Lan Luoyan, and the other girl with the bad figure was Yin Chujio. Lan Luoyan was furious. She had always been proud and arrogant. How could she not be angry when she was insulted by the two men? However, Lan Luoqing stopped her because he felt that the two middle-aged men's backgrounds were not simple. It was better not to provoke them. After all, they might just be enjoying themselves and nothing would happen to them. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5361, 1000 Feet Sect. However, things did not go as planned. The two middle-aged men actually walked straight to the table of Yin Chujio and the others. One of them said with an evil smile, "The three of you girls are quite good-looking. From now on, you can be our concubines. Following us will definitely bring you benefits." Lan Luoyan was about to explode with anger. If Lan Luoqing did not tell her not to be impulsive, she would have slapped him directly. Lan Luoqing saw that Yin Chujio did not have any intention to speak. As the oldest, he could only say, "The two of you, please don't joke around. We are from the Lan family of the Imperial City. We have already finished eating with our ancestors. Goodbye." As Lan Luoqing said this, he called the waiter to pay the bill and wanted to leave. He felt that since he had already pointed out their identities, these two middle-aged men should not continue to pester him. Who would have thought that the two middle-aged men would look at each other and then reveal a contemptuous smile? "Are you using the Lan family to threaten us? What's so great about a mere family from a low-grade continent? It's your fortune that we've taken a fancy to you. If you're not members of the Lan family, you're not even qualified to be concubines. You can only be maids." The members of the Lan family were both angry and shocked. Hearing this person's words, could it be that he was from the Divine Enlightenment continent? Lan Luoqing suppressed his anger and said to Lan Luoyan and the others, "Let's go." Unexpectedly, the two people actually blocked their way. "You can leave, but these three girls must stay. Otherwise, you'll become corpses and stay here." Lan Luoyan couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, "Who are you people? You're really going too far. TSK, this chick is even more adorable when she's angry. Who are we?" Listen carefully. We're the disciples of the 1000 Feet Sect in the Divine Enlightenment continent. How about it? As long as the three of you serve us well, we might be happy and give you the qualification to ascend. This is much better than your hard work and cultivation. One of them said proudly. In their eyes, the people of the heavy cloud continent were like ants. So what if they slept with a few women? Even if they killed them, they would just kill them. A disciple of the 1,000 Feet sect in the Divine Enlightenment continent? The people of the Land family were immediately stunned. Although they didn't know how powerful the 1,000 Feet sect was in the Divine Enlightenment continent, it was definitely not something the Lan family could afford to provoke. No wonder Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixia had given themselves to them. When the others in the restaurant heard the two of them announce their identities, they didn't even bother to eat. They all hurriedly paid the bill and left, afraid that they would be implicated. However, they didn't leave immediately after leaving the restaurant. Instead, they stood outside to watch the commotion. Yin Chujio and the others sat by the window. Moreover, the windows of this restaurant were all open, so they could see everything clearly. The crowd gathered in groups of 3 or 5 and discussed animatedly. I think the 3 ladies of the Lan family are most likely going to suffer. Although the Lan family is one of the 4 great aristocratic families in the Chongshao continent, they are nothing in the eyes of the people of the Divine Enlightenment continent. You're right. Even if the head of the Lan family comes, he might not dare to offend these 2 people. He might even have to hand over the 3 ladies. It might not be a bad thing. They have the qualifications to ascend. Didn't you see Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixia? I don't think they were forced. It seems like they were willing. Even if they didn't get the qualifications to ascend in the end, these 2 people can give them some good things to make their cultivation more efficient with half the effort. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5362. The people of the Lan family are all idiots, right? When the 2 people of the 1,000 Feet sect saw the astonishment on the faces of the people of the Lan family, they couldn't help but feel even more smug. It was their good fortune that they were able to take a fancy to people from a mere inferior continent. Just like Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixia, they only gave a little bit of benefit and weren't willing. They didn't even dare to fart. As for the qualification to ascend, they were naturally just saying it. They didn't have the right to make that decision. How is it? Do you feel that you're lucky to follow us? The 3 of you girls follow us up to the 2nd floor. The rest of you quickly scram. Otherwise, don't blame us for being ruthless. Blue veins popped out on Lan Lucheng's forehead, but he still suppressed his anger and said, Sirs, my younger sister and the other 2 are engaged, so I don't dare to accept your good intentions. Goodbye. Lan Luoqing had already restrained his words. He did not expect that the person who spoke would actually swing his palm towards Lan Lucheng's heart. You fool! Lan Luoqing did not expect that he would suddenly attack. Moreover, there was a huge difference in strength between the 2 of them. He did not have time to dodge, and his heart sank. It was over. At this moment, a hand reached out from his side and pushed him to the side, avoiding the palm. The person who pushed him away was Yin Chujio. Lan Luoqing was drenched in cold sweat. If Yin Chujio hadn't pushed him away, if he had been hit by this palm strike, he would have died without a doubt. The person from the 1,000 Feet sect didn't expect that Yin Chujio's light push would allow Lan Luoqing to dodge his attack. Moreover, the angle was very clever. Even the wind from his palm hadn't been able to hit Lan Luoqing. However, he felt that Yin Chujio was only at the 1st level of the spirit extinguisher realm. He reckoned that it was just a blind cat meeting a dead mouse. His gaze fell on Yin Chujio's beautiful face, and his eyes revealed an evil look. Little lady, could it be that you can't wait to leave with me? Yin Chujio's expression was indifferent. What are your names? The man smiled smugly. My name is Lu Yuanli. This is my junior brother Lu Tianrui. Little lady, why are you asking our names? Yin Chujio's expression was still indifferent. Because I have to know who I killed. The 2 of them were stunned at first, then they burst into laughter. They felt that Yin Chujio was talking crazy, putting aside the fact that she, a person from the heavy cloud continent, did not dare to kill them. Even if she had the guts, she did not have the ability to do so. Little lady, even if you are boasting, you have to consider your own ability. Although I am kind to women, if you do not know your place, I do not have the patience to play with you, Lu Yuanli said with a sinister smile. Lan Luoqing and the others were also stunned, but they soon revealed worried expressions. The troublemaker in front of them was a pervert. Since she said so, she probably really wanted to kill the two people in front of her. Although these two people deserved to die, if they provoked the Divine Enlightenment Continent's forces, the consequences would be very serious. Therefore, Lan Luoqing advised, "Little Jiu, why don't we just forget about it? Just scare them, don't really kill them." Lan Luomu echoed, "That's right, little Jiu. It's better to not cause too much trouble. Just teach them a lesson and don't kill them." Lan Luoji also said, "Little Jiu, just give them a beating. Don't really kill them, and don't hit them too hard. It'll be bad if they die." Lu Yuanli, Lu Tianrui. These people from the Lan family were all idiots, right? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5363. Good women don't fight with men. Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui felt that most of the people from the Lan family had problems with their brains. Why did they think that this little girl would kill them too harshly? What a joke! Although they had been suppressed to the 5th level of spirit extinguisher on the heavy cloud continent, this little girl was only at the 1st level of spirit extinguisher. They could crush her to death with a single finger. The people watching outside also felt that Lan Luoqing and the others were talking nonsense. Although the Lan family was one of the top aristocratic families on the Great Firmament Continent, they were nothing in front of the forces of the Divine Enlightenment Continent, let alone killing them. Not to mention whether they had the guts to provoke them. Even if they did, they didn't have the strength to do so. Lu Yuanli said frivolously, "Little girl, you want to kill me? Come on, let me teach you the rules." When Lu Yuanli said this, he stared at Yun Chujio with lewd and evil eyes. He calculated in his heart that if this little girl really dared to make a move, he would take the opportunity to take advantage of her. Lan Luoqing saw that Yun Chujio's eyes were showing killing intent, so he quickly signaled Lan Luofeng and Lan Luoyan with his eyes. The two of them had no choice but to hold one of Yun Chujio's hands. "Little Jiu, calm down. Calm down. If you kill them, the old ancestor will definitely punish you." "That's right, little Jiu. A good woman doesn't fight with men. You are a magnanimous man, so don't be serious with them. Let's hurry back to the inn." Yun Chujio slightly frowned, then looked at Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui, and said indifferently, "You guys move out of the way now, and today's matter ends here." Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui laughed loudly. This little girl really thought that she was powerful. It really made people laugh. Lu Yuanli said with a fake smile, "Little lady, since you are not willing to make the first move, then I won't be polite." As he spoke, he grabbed Yun Chujio's chest, his face full of malicious intent. Lan Luofeng and Lan Luoyan had long let go of Yun Chujio's hand. What a joke, they were not fools. Since these two people were courting death, then let little Jiu send them on their way. As for the consequences, well, there was little Jiu anyway. Just as Lu Yuanli's hand was about to touch Yun Chujio's clothes, his vision blurred, and the sound of wind came from behind. He was suddenly shocked and subconsciously dodged to the side, narrowly avoiding Yun Chujio's palm. How was this possible? This little girl was only at the 1st level of spirit destruction, but her movement technique was simply inconceivable. If he had not dodged quickly, perhaps that palm strike would have taken his life. He thought again, perhaps it was just a coincidence. He had been careless just now. As long as he was a little more focused, it would not be a problem to take down this little girl. However, after a few rounds, he knew that he was wrong, very wrong. This little girl's movement technique had reached at least the speed of the 8th level of the spirit extinguisher realm. He was not her match at all. Lu Yuanli could not help but feel a little anxious. If he lost, then he would lose a lot of face. If this news spread out, he would not have the face to see anyone in the Divine Enlightenment Continent. He gritted his teeth and directly jumped out of the window onto the street. He said coldly, "Stinky girl, you really don't want to lose face. Originally, I did not want to take your life. Since you are courting death, then I will fulfill your wish." As Lu Yuanli spoke, he released his spiritual beast, and the surrounding people couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Lu Yuanli's spiritual beast was a huge spiritual tiger. Not only was its body mighty, but the most important thing was that one of the spiritual tiger's claws had actually condensed into a solid body. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5364 Would rather die standing. Lu Yuanli was very proud when he saw everyone's reaction. Although his spiritual beast only had a claw, its combat power was much stronger than ordinary spiritual beasts. He looked at Yun Chujio, who slowly walked out, and sneered. Little lady, as long as you kneel down and beg me for mercy now and agree to be my concubine, I will spare you today. If not, none of you will be able to leave this place alive. Yun Chujio's gaze fell on the materialized claw of the huge spiritual tiger, and she muttered in her heart. When she was at the 10,000 Buddha Dharma assembly, she had materialized a Buddha lotus. It was pure nonsense. She did not expect that there was such a cultivation technique. This fellow suddenly thought of Dehua. Dehua's true form was Tao Tai, but for some reason, it had become her spiritual beast. Could it be that it had such an idea? When her cultivation reached a certain level, she could materialize its body. However, where did Dehua go? Maybe it was Go Weiba trick again. Guai Chao and her Dantian. When Lu Yuanli saw that Yun Chujio did not say anything, he thought that she was afraid and became even more arrogant. What? Is the little lady afraid? Then hurry up and kneel down and beg for mercy. Yun Chujio came back to her senses and did not pay attention to Lu Yuanli. Instead, she said to the surrounding onlookers, Everyone, I believe that everyone has seen what happened. Everyone has their own opinions on what is right and what is wrong. I know that if I offend these two scum today, not only will I bring about my own death, but the Lan family will also be dragged down. However, if I didn't resist, where would the face of our heavy cloud continent be? It was true that our heavy cloud continent was a lower continent compared to the divine enlightenment continent, but this didn't mean that we were lambs at the mercy of others. It didn't mean that we could be wantonly humiliated. Everything in the world had its own laws. If the people of the higher continents could casually slaughter the people of the lower continents, then where was the Tian Dao? Where is the justice? Where is the justice? Even if my cultivation base is not as high as theirs, even if they are people of the divine enlightenment continent, as people of the heavy cloud continent, I would rather die standing up than die sitting down. I would rather use my own blood to defend the dignity of our heavy cloud continent. No one wanted to be trampled under the feet of others. Yun Chujio's words immediately resonated with everyone. Someone pulled at his neck and shouted, You're right. You're absolutely right. If we don't kill these two scum, the rest of the people in the divine inspiration continent will follow suit. How can the people of the heavy cloud continent still be alive? That's right. These two bastards want to forcefully take possession of any girl they like. Do they think that our heavy cloud continent is a brothel? They're fucking bullying us. That's right. The universe is bright and clear. Evil people like them should go to hell. Kill them. Kill them. Almost instantly, the crowd became excited, and they clamored to kill Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui. Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui did not expect Yun Chujio to incite the crowd with just a few words. They were somewhat afraid. However, thinking about it again, they were just a group of ants. Did they really dare to make a move? Therefore Lu Yuanli shouted, Shut up, all of you. If anyone talks nonsense again, I will kill him. The clamor of the crowd came to an abrupt end. Lu Yuanli could not help but sneer in his heart. A bunch of rabble. After a little scare, they did not dare to make a sound. Right at this moment someone shouted, Did you hear that? He called himself me. He is treating us like sons of bitches. Let's attack together. I don't believe that he would dare to do anything to us. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5365 was fearless following that person's words. A rotten egg was thrown at Lu Yuanli. With someone taking the lead, the others did not have so many scruples. Even if Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui's cultivation levels were higher than theirs, they had more people. So what was there to be afraid of? Therefore, whatever rotten eggplant, and even boots were thrown at Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui. The two of them were so angry that they were about to explode. Lu Yuanli immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation and commanded the spirit tiger to pounce towards the crowd. As for how many people would die, it was not within his considerations. They were just a group of ants. If they died, so be it. Lu Tianrui also released his spirit wolf. His spirit wolf had already materialized a front claw and was also pouncing towards the crowd. At this moment, several spirit beasts blocked the spirit power giant tiger and spirit power giant wolf. Although their strength was not good, but fortunately there were many of them, so they could still hold on for a while. The surrounding people reacted and also released their spirit beasts one after another, besieging the spirit power giant tiger and spirit power giant wolf. It was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. Even if the spirit power giant tiger and spirit power giant wolf materialized a claw, they could not withstand such an attack and quickly dissipated. At this time someone shouted, "Anyway, we have already offended them. We will not rest until we kill them." The crowd was already hot-blooded, so they could not care about anything else. They immediately rushed forward. Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui never thought that things would develop to this point. The first thought that came to their minds was to escape. There was no need to worry about firewood when there was life. They would save their lives first, and then settle the scores with the Lan family and these idiots. If they wanted to escape, it would not be a big problem. After all, their strength was above these people. However, they forgot that there was still a scheming He Xingjiu beside them. The two of them were about to escape when Lu Yuanli stumbled and coincidentally knocked Lu Tianrui, who was in front of him, into the ground. At this moment, everyone had already rushed up. It was as difficult as climbing up to the sky for them to escape. 15 minutes later, the two of them had already become two corpses that were beyond recognition. At the same time, after everyone calmed down and thought about the consequences of this matter, they could not help but be afraid. Some even planned to escape. At this moment, Yin Chujia's clear voice rang out. "Everyone, you are not afraid of power and have risen up to resist. You can be said to be the role model of the heavy cloud continent. So what if it's the divine enlightenment continent? So what if it's the materialization of spiritual power? As long as we unite as one, we have nothing to fear. However, I know that everyone is still a little worried about getting revenge. Don't worry. If anyone tries to pursue this matter, you can just push the blame onto me, Yin Chujio. I will bear the responsibility alone, and I will not implicate all of you." As soon as Yin Chujio finished her words, someone immediately shouted, "Miss Yun, what are you talking about? We are men, how can we let you suffer alone? At most, we will just die. For the sake of the heavy cloud continent, we will accept it." "That's right. What's the point of the divine enlightenment continent? It was those two who were at fault first. We are the right side, why should we be punished?" "Right, the people of the divine enlightenment continent also have to be reasonable. Miss Yin is not to blame for this matter, and neither are we. Those two people are courting death, who can they blame?" Yin Chujio looked at the people who were shouting the loudest among the crowd, and the corners of her mouth curled up. Although they had all taken the disguising pills, Yin Chujio knew that these people were definitely Lung Yin and the others in disguise. This fellow could not help but feel proud in his heart. Did you see that? He had to grasp the commanding point of public opinion at all times, so that he could control the situation. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5366. Arrest Yin Chujio. After everyone's clamor had subsided, Yin Chujio said in a clear voice, "Everyone, in order to prevent people from confusing right and wrong, why don't we carry these two corpses to the Divine Devil Hall to explain the situation? I believe that the Divine Devil Hall will give us a fair explanation." This fellow had little Jiu in his heart. If the Divine Devil Hall did not deal with it impartially, it would definitely cause public anger, and it would be a good opportunity to tear off their hypocritical skin. If they dealt with her impartially, it would offend the 1,000 Feet sect. No matter what kind of outcome it was, it would not bring any benefits. Of course, If the divine devil Hall wanted to take revenge on her and wanted to harm her, she would not be so foolish as to allow them to deal with her. Since the matter had become so big, all the major forces would definitely go and watch. She did not believe that the divine devil Hall would be willing to sacrifice their efforts for such a big game of chess. The divine devil Hall had a hall in Four Seasons City to handle the affairs of Four Seasons City. By the time everyone arrived at the hall's entrance, the manager of Four Seasons City had already received the report. Manager, he not good. The two lords of the 1,000 Feet sect have been killed. What? Someone actually killed the people of the 1,000 Feet sect. They are really courting death. Why don't you capture the culprit? Manager, he immediately stood up in shock. The Imperial Guard who reported the news said with a stiff expression, Manager, it's not that we don't want to arrest them, but there are too many people who have acted. There are hundreds of them, and we have no way to arrest them. Manager, he was dumbfounded. What the hell? There were hundreds of people who had acted. What did those two people do? They were actually beaten up? After the Imperial Guard explained the details, Manager, he was delighted. It was actually caused by Yin Chujio. Haha. He could use this opportunity to capture Yin Chujio and use her as a hostage to blackmail Baiming. This was a great opportunity for him to make a contribution. Manager, he suppressed the ecstasy in his heart and led his men to capture Yin Chujio. Who would have thought that the moment he reached the door, he would find that the door was already blocked? Although Manager, he had never seen Yin Chujio before, but those who had a certain status in the Divine Devil Hall had seen Yin Chujio's portrait. Hence, they recognized Yin Chujio, who was standing at the front of the crowd at a glance. He glanced at the two bloody corpses on the ground and immediately shouted angrily, Men! Take Yin Chujio down. The guards of the Divine Devil Hall were about to go forward and arrest her when Yin Chujio sneered. What? You want to arrest her without asking about the truth? Do your Divine Devil Hall also think that the lives of the people in the Heavy Cloud continent are as cheap as grass? Or is it because the main hall of your Divine Devil Hall is in the Divine Enlightenment continent that you don't care about our lives? Yes. As soon as Yin Chujio finished her words, someone in the crowd immediately echoed, That's right, they want to capture people without asking anything. It seems that the Divine Devil Hall and the 1,000 Feet sect are in cahoots. Right. If that's not the case, why did those two people occupy so many women, and the Divine Devil Hall didn't even say a word? I thought that the Divine Devil Hall did things fairly, but I didn't expect that they would actually help the tiger. It's really disappointing. Manager, he was a little confused. He didn't expect that these people would point the finger at the Divine Devil Hall. He said with a sullen face, I just want to capture the culprit, Yin Chujio, and interrogate her. After all, these are two people's lives. He calculated in his heart that no matter what, he had to capture Yin Chujio first. As for these motley people, they wouldn't make a name for themselves. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5367 now knew what was the use of crying under the command of Manager He. The guards of the Divine Devil Hall rushed forward to capture Yin Chujio. Yin Chujio was not stupid. She would not wait there stupidly. She shouted coldly, Wait! Manager He, aren't you being too hasty? Yin Chujio, you have committed a heinous crime. Why don't you surrender? If you continue to resist, then don't blame us for being ruthless. Manager He sneered. Reckless. He was still waiting to catch her and make a fortune from her promotion. Lan Luocheng and the others naturally wouldn't just stand by and watch. They immediately protected Yin Chujio in the middle. Lan Luocheng said to Manager He, Manager He, there is a misunderstanding. Please wait for a moment. When our ancestor arrives, it would have been better if he didn't say this. After he said it, Manager He urged his subordinates to act quickly. He thought to himself, if that old bastard from the Lan family arrived, there would be no way to capture Yin Chujio. He had to end this quickly. Just as Yin Chujio was about to encourage the onlookers, she saw a commotion in the crowd of the Lan family. She guessed that the old ancestor of the Lan family and the others had arrived. This guy immediately felt more confident. Sure enough, The old ancestor of the Lan family shouted from behind the crowd. Hold on. Manager, he gritted his teeth and cursed the old man in his heart. However, even if he was here, today's matter wouldn't be settled so easily. After the old ancestor of the Lan family walked over, he glared at Yin Chujio. When Yin Chujio sneaked out of the inn, he was chatting with someone, so he didn't know about it. When he found out, his right eyelid began to twitch nonstop. His heart was pounding. Did that troublemaker get into trouble again? In the end, not long after, a guard ran over and reported, Patriarch, something bad has happened. The young miss and her men killed 2 people from the 1,000 Feet sect in the Divine Enlightenment continent. The teacup in Patriarch Lan's hand fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. This troublemaker could really cause trouble for him. She had gone out for such a short while, but she had already caused such a big mess. Even if the 2 people she had killed were from the Divine Devil Hall, it was still fine. She had actually killed people from the Divine Enlightenment continent. Wasn't she purposely picking trouble from the heavens? However, she couldn't just ignore it. She didn't have the time to ask any more questions, and immediately brought Elder Tua here. Manager, he cupped his hands toward the Lan family's ancestor with a fake smile. Master Lan, you've come at the right time. Yin Chujio killed 2 disciples of the 1,000 Feet sect. She deserves to be punished. What are you still standing there for? Arrest her. Manager, isn't it inappropriate to arrest someone before the investigation is done? The face of the Lan family's patriarch was very gloomy. Normally, Manager, he wouldn't dare to talk to him like this with his status. But now that he had something to hold on to, he could only suppress the anger in his heart. Manager, he sneered. Master Lan, Yin Chujio killed a disciple of the 1,000 Feet sect. This is not a trivial matter. So even if you come here personally, we still have to arrest this person first. The face of the Lan family's patriarch became even more unsightly. Just as he was about to speak, he heard someone sobbing. He turned his head and saw that troublemaker wiping away his tears. He gritted his teeth in his heart. This troublemaker. Now he knew to cry. What was the use? Sob, Patriarch, I've let you down. I shouldn't have implicated the family for the honor and disgrace of the Heavy Cloud continent. I've let down the ancestors of the Lan family. You don't have to care about me anymore. Just let the Divine Devil Hall kill me and flatter the 1,000 Feet sect. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5368. Miss Yin was really a righteous person. When the Lan family's patriarch heard her words, he was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. What did she mean by not implicating the family for the honor and disgrace of the Heavy Cloud continent? If he blamed her, didn't it mean that he placed the Lan family above the honor and disgrace of the Heavy Cloud continent? What kind of sin did he do to get into such a troublemaker? While the ancestor of the Lan family was still angry, he heard He Xinjiu continue sobbing. Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui want to marry us as their concubines. I shouldn't have resisted. I should have gladly accepted them. They insulted the people of the Great Cloud continent. I shouldn't have resisted either. I should have joined them in cursing. Sob sob. If I had known that the temple of deities and demons was confusing black and white, I would have killed the 2 animals myself. At least I would have been able to vent my anger. The ancestor of the Lan family was moved and immediately asked, What did you say? Do you mean that you didn't kill those 2 people? Yin Chujio was stunned and then said in a panic, Age? No, yes, I killed them. It has nothing to do with other people. When those onlookers heard Yin Chujio's words, they were very touched. Miss Yin was really loyal. Previously, she had said that she would bear the consequences alone. Now that she was about to die, she still insisted on saying that. It was really touching. In comparison, they were not loyal enough. They were simply cowards. Therefore, someone shouted, Miss Yin, we appreciate your kindness. But you didn't kill those 2 people. You don't have to take the blame for yourself. Manager, Miss Yin didn't do anything. So why did she become the main culprit? How can a muddle-headed person like you have the nerve to become the manager of Four Seasons City? Get out of here. You really want to add to the crime. So why don't you say anything? Miss Yin was clearly a victim, but now she has become a murderer. Are you blind? Manager, he was really dumbfounded this time. Yin Chuzhou didn't make a move. He looked at the guard who informed him, and the guard braced himself and said, Manager, in the beginning, Lu Yuanli and Yin Chuzhou had a conflict, but after leaving the restaurant, Yin Chuzhou really didn't make a move. Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui were beaten to death by a group, so it's impossible to determine who is the murderer. At this moment, Yin Chuzhou wiped her tears with her sleeve and bowed to the onlookers. Everyone, since I have promised to bear the consequences alone, I should not have shown any flaws. I have let you down. The crowd began to clamor, saying that Yin Chuzhou was not to blame for this matter, and not to blame herself. Yin Chuzhou's face was filled with gratitude. Then, she pointed at Manager He angrily and said, Manager He, we are all here to participate in the Chongshao Festival. As the organizer, your Divine Devil Hall has the obligation to protect our safety. Moreover, this four-season city was originally your Divine Devil Hall's territory. However, you allowed the two people from the 1,000 Feet sect to bully the men and women without stepping out to stop them. If you could stop them in time, such a thing would not have happened. Therefore, the death of Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui, you cannot escape the blame. You are the main culprits. Someone in the crowd immediately echoed, You're right. You're absolutely right. All of this is because of this manager. He's in action. He is the main culprit. No wonder he wanted to capture Miss Yin without any reason. So it's to get away with it. How shameless. He looks like a dog, but he harbors evil intentions. It seems that the Divine Devil Hall is not a good thing either. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5369. We will not be participating in this great firmament event. Manager. He was completely dumbfounded. How did it become him? And the Divine Devil Hall in the blink of an eye? What on earth happened? At this moment, Yin Chuzhou signaled for everyone to be quiet. Then, she looked at the two women standing in the corner. Sister Qi, Sister Mu, you were forced by those two beasts previously. For the sake of the safety of your family, you had no choice but to temporarily submit. If it weren't for the inaction of the Divine Devil Hall, you wouldn't have suffered such injustice. Don't you want to seek justice? Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixiao originally didn't want to stay here, but Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui were dead. If they left on their own, they might be in trouble. That was why they followed them. At this moment, hearing Yin Chuzhou's words, the two of them had mixed feelings. The reason why they gave themselves to Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui was firstly because of their coercion, and secondly, because of their qualifications to ascend. However, after they followed those two, they realized that they didn't have that kind of power. However, what was done, so they could only accept it and hope for other benefits. However, they also knew that once the Chongshao convention ended, Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui would definitely leave the Chongshao continent. When that time came, their reputation would be terrible. Now Yin Chuzhou had given them a ready-made excuse. As long as they agreed with Yin Chuzhou's words, their previous actions would become a last resort. It was to sacrifice their own innocence for the sake of their family. Others would be much more lenient towards them. However, if they agreed with Yin Chuzhou's words, they would imperceptibly put the Qi family and the Mu family on opposite sides of the Divine Devil Hall. It was really a difficult choice. In the end, the two of them gritted their teeth. If they didn't do it for themselves, heaven and earth would destroy them. No matter what, they had to save their reputation first. Therefore, the two of them covered their faces and wept, saying, Sister Yun, you're right. If the Divine Devil Hall didn't do anything, we wouldn't have ruined our innocence. We had no choice. Yin Chuzhou immediately pointed at Manager He with righteous indignation and said, Did you hear that? Sister Qi and Sister Mu were both young ladies from aristocratic families, and had a bright future, and a good marriage relationship. Just because of your inaction, you ruined their happiness. Don't you feel guilty? Qi Tianxiao and Mu Zixiao had been hit by Yin Chuzhou's painful words. They couldn't care about anything else and immediately cried out sharply, Yes, if you could maintain the order of Four Seasons City, how could we be forced by those two beasts? It's all because of the inaction of your divine devil hall that we were harmed. We came all the way here to participate in the Chongshao festival, but we encountered such a disaster. Your divine devil hall can't escape the blame. Manager, he never thought that things would develop into such a strange situation. How did he become the scapegoat? Moreover, it seemed that the Qi family and Mu family were going to fall out with the divine devil hall. He kept wiping the cold sweat on his forehead. What should he do next? Yun Chujio said coldly, since your divine devil hall doesn't have the ability to maintain order, then it's fine if you don't participate in the Heavy Cloud Festival. Everyone, we don't need to be bullied here. We won't participate in the Heavy Cloud Festival. Let the divine devil hall play by themselves. The crowd started to clamor as well. They were all clamoring to leave the Great Firmament event. The Lan family's patriarch looked on coldly from the side. He had mixed feelings. He had thought that this troublemaker had gotten into big trouble this time. He had not expected that with her glib tongue, not only was she cleared of her crimes, but she had also completely messed up the situation. She was really sinister. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 53:70 Kneel down. At this moment, there was a commotion behind the crowd. A purple-masked man walked over with his men. Yin Chujio cursed in her heart. What a bunch of despicable things. They were actually wearing masks on their own territory. When the Lan family's ancestor saw the purple-masked man, his pupils constricted. In the past, when the Lan family had formed an alliance with the Divine Devil Hall, it was this Qi Dong who had contacted him. Although he was wearing a mask, the Lan family's ancestor still recognized him. He did not expect that the two of them were still in a cooperative relationship. Now when they met again, they were enemies. And the instigator of all this was the troublemaker beside him. Qi Dong had spies in Four Seasons City and knew the whole process of the matter. He glanced at Yin Chujio maliciously and wished that he could arrest her immediately. However, under everyone's watchful eyes, especially with the old fox of the Lan family present, he could only choose to let the matter rest. Qi Dong cupped his hands at the Lan family's patriarch, then said, Patriarch Lan, I'm really sorry. This matter was handled improperly by our Divine Devil Hall. Although Lu Yuanli and Lu Tianrui are people from the Divine Enlightenment continent, they can't bully people from the Chongshao continent. We will explain the situation to the Thousand Feet sect truthfully, and won't vent our anger on anyone. Seeing Qi Dong say this, the Lan family's patriarch couldn't say anything more. After all, the ones who died were people from the 1,000 feet tall sect. Just as he was about to turn a big issue into a small one, and turn a small one into a small one, he heard the troublemaker next to him say in an aggrieved tone, Is it over with just an apology? We were quite frightened by these two beasts. Sister Qi and Sister Mu were also hurt physically and mentally. Shouldn't your Divine Demon Hall have something to say? Besides, everyone killed these two animals for a just cause, and helped your Divine Devil Hall maintain the order of Four Seasons City. Shouldn't you reward everyone? When the crowd heard that there was a reward, they immediately became noisy. Wouldn't they be fools if they didn't take advantage of them? Qi Dong looked at Yin Chujio with a malicious gaze. If gaze could kill, Yin Chujio would have died hundreds of times. After a moment he said coldly, Manager, he compensate Miss Qi and Miss Mu with 3 million high-grade spirit stones each. Compensate the Lan family with 1 million high-grade spirit stones. And reward the others with 1,000 high-grade spirit stones each. Yin Chujio pursed her lips and muttered softly, How stingy. This little money is not enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. Qi Qiuquan pretended not to hear her words. Anyway, there were plenty of opportunities to deal with her. After receiving the money, everyone was naturally very happy and full of praise for Yin Chujio. As for the God and Devil Temple, they could not be bothered with them. They were the main culprits, so it was only right for them to give some blood. The ancestor of the Lan family said a few words to Qi Dong perfunctorily before he brought He Xinjiu and the others back to the inn. As soon as they entered the room, the ancestor of the Lan family shouted, Kneel down. Lan Luocheng, and the others immediately knelt on the ground. They were extremely respectful to the ancestor of the Lan family, so they were naturally trembling in fear. Seeing that Hei Xinjiu was standing perfectly still and did not kneel down, the ancestor of the Lan family was even more furious. "Little Jiu, why aren't you kneeling?" Hei Xinjiu moved a chair and placed it in front of the ancestor of the Lan family. She bared her white teeth and said, "Ancestor, I'm moving a chair for you, aren't I? Come sit down and scold us. Don't tire yourself out. Ancestor, it's all thanks to you that you arrived in time this time. Otherwise our lives would have been over. You really love us too much. To be able to become your junior is simply a blessing that we have cultivated for 8 lifetimes." The corners of Lan Luocheng and the other's eyes twitched. Little Jiu was really bold. She actually dared to flatter at this time? Wasn't she afraid that she would smack the horse's hooves? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5371. The Messier the better. The Lan family's patriarch glared at the cheeky Hei Xinjiu before he sat down on the chair. Hei Xinjiu obediently kneeled beside Lan Luofang. This fellow kneeled without any psychological pressure. After all, face was not his livelihood. Moreover, this old fox was almost 1,000 years old. It was reasonable for her to kneel. After being interrupted by Yun Chujiu, the anger of the Lan family's patriarch dissipated a little. He said with a cold face, "How dare you? It's one thing for you to go out behind my back, but you actually caused such a big trouble. Do you know your mistake?" Before the others could say anything, Hei Xinjiu said with a sincere face, "Patriarch, you taught us that we were wrong. We were very wrong. We shouldn't have sneaked away. We shouldn't have provoked the people of the 1,000 Feet sect. And we shouldn't have clashed with the people of the Divine Devil Hall. We have let down your usual teachings, and we have let down your expectations of us. We won't dare to do it again. We will definitely correct our mistakes and learn from our mistakes. Cultivate well and glorify the family of the Lan family, Lan family's forefather." The Lan family's patriarch glared at Yun Chujiu, who was talking nonstop. For a moment, he did not know what to say. Everything that he could say had been said by this troublemaker. Hei Xinjiu bared her little white teeth. "Patriarch, we all understand this logic, but those 2 bastards from the 1,000 Feet sect actually tried to snatch us sisters as concubines. Cousin Luocheng tried to negotiate with them nicely, but they actually wanted to kill Cousin Luocheng. I couldn't bear it any longer, so I argued with him a little. Besides, I was afraid of getting into trouble. In the end, I didn't do it myself and tricked those onlookers into beating them to death." The Lan family's forefather snorted. "Even so, do you think that the 1,000 Feet sect will let it go?" "Forefather, although I don't know much about the Divine Enlightenment continent and the 1,000 Feet sect's strength, judging from the cultivation of those 2, the 1,000 Feet sect's strength shouldn't be that great. Moreover, if the 1,000 Feet sect is really difficult to deal with, the people of the Divine Devil Hall won't be able to shoulder this matter so easily. Taking a step back, even if the 1,000 Feet sect wants to make things difficult for us, haven't I dragged the Qi family and the Mu family into the water? At that time, if we stir up trouble again, the 1,000 Feet sect won't dare to do anything to us. No matter how powerful the people of the Divine Enlightenment continent are, after their cultivation bases are suppressed in the Heavy Cloud continent, they will at most be at the 9th layer of Spirit Extinguisher realm. Moreover, if they kill too many people, they will be punished by the Tian Dao. They won't be able to stir up a storm. Moreover, don't you think that the more chaotic the Heavy Cloud Festival is, the better?" Yun Chujiu said with a smile. The Lan family's patriarch wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. In the end, he said in a bad mood, "Go back to your rooms." Lan Luofang and the others didn't expect this matter to be forgotten just like that. Little Jiu was really good. After breakfast the next day, Hei Xinjiu blinked her eyes and said, "Ancestor, let me accompany you for a walk. It's so boring to stay in the inn all the time." The Lan family's ancestor looked at her pair of black eyes that were rolling around. He was angry and amused at the same time. It was probably because she found it boring. However, He had only come to Four Seasons City once a few years ago. It was not bad to take the opportunity to walk around. Thus he nodded and agreed. The Lan family's patriarch brought everyone out of the inn and onto the street. Not long after they walked out, they saw many monks coming towards them. The one in the lead was Xianhui. Xianhui could be said to be very pleased with himself. He had gotten rid of Xianji and became the sect master. It was the time for him to be proud. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5372. He was a serious monk. The Lan family had a good relationship with the Zen sect. So Xianhui naturally didn't like the Lan family. However, they hadn't fallen out with each other yet, so they had to be polite. Moreover, when he was in the bitter Zen sect, the ancestor of the Lan family had helped him subdue Xianji. So he had to say hello to Xianji. After exchanging a few words, Xianhui remembered the news he had received yesterday and said with a bit of inquiry, Master Lan, I heard that your Lan family provoked the 1,000 Feet sect in the Divine Enlightenment continent yesterday, and even caused trouble in front of the Divine Devil Hall? Even the guardian of the Divine Devil Hall, Qi Dong, was alarmed? The Lan family's patriarch didn't want to discuss this matter with Xianhui too much and said indifferently, It's not a matter of provoking. It's just the negligence of the Divine Devil Hall. Xianhui said with a fake smile under her skin. It's not the Divine Devil Hall's fault. After all, the other forces are all safe and sound. Only your Lan family has caused trouble. The face of the Lan family's patriarch darkened slightly. Was this Xianhui really looking for trouble? At this time, Yin Chujie walked forward and bowed. Sect Master Xianhui, I have a gatha that I don't know how to explain. I heard that you are an eminent monk who has attained the Tao. May I take the liberty to ask you to help me explain a little? Regardless of whether it was the 10,000 Buddha's grand meeting or the Buddhist light of the Sea of Clouds, Yin Chujie had appeared as the lonely little monk. Therefore, Xianhui had never met Yin Chujie. However, the bitter Zen sect had dealings with the Divine Devil Hall, so he had seen Yin Chujie's portrait. He thought that this little girl was bold enough to take the initiative to run to the Divine Devil Hall's territory. Logically speaking, when he was talking to the Lan family's ancestor, it was not a junior's place to interrupt. However, when he saw that Yin Chujie called him an eminent monk with a very pious attitude, he said in a benevolent manner, Speak. There is a saying that the tree wants to be quiet, but the wind does not stop. Junior really does not understand why someone would be hit by a leaf and not blame the violent wind of the culprit, but instead resent the innocent leaf? I hope that you can explain some of my doubts, Yin Chujie asked with a puzzled look. Xianhui. He was not a fool, so he naturally understood that Yin Chujie was referring to the mulberry tree and scolding the locust tree. What gatha? She was using words to refute him. This wretched girl was as hateful as that dead lone. They were both equally sharp-tongued. However, he also remembered that Lone was the reincarnation of a Buddha. If he scolded him, he might suffer retribution. So he quickly chanted the name of Buddha several times to atone for his sins. When the Lan family's patriarch saw that Xianhui's old face was very ugly, he could not help but feel relieved. However, he also knew the principle of quitting when the time was right. He berated Yin Chujie. Sect leader Xianhui has a lot of affairs to attend to every day. How could he have the time to give you such a shallow explanation? Back off now. Xianhui was so angry that she almost died. Such a shallow explanation? This old thing was obviously also pointing at the mulberry tree and cursing the locust tree. The old man and the young man were not things. However, he could only go down the slope. Otherwise, how could he explain that the tree wanted to be quiet, but the wind would not stop? Therefore he said with a stiff face, Master Lan, I have just entered the city. I still have things to do. Goodbye. The ancestor of the Lan family nodded. Please go ahead, sect leader Xianhui. Before Xianhui left, she glanced at Yin Chujie with a fierce look in her eyes. If an ordinary person were to be looked at like that, their normal reaction would be panic and unease. However, He Xinjie was obviously not an ordinary person. She looked at sect leader Xianhui in confusion and asked crisply, Sect leader Xianhui. Why did you look at me twice? Could it be because I'm good-looking? Xianhui. Where did the Lan family find such a fool? He was a monk, and he looked at a little girl twice because she was good-looking? If this news spread out, it would simply cause people to break their backs. He was not like Xianji who liked to cultivate with some furnaces or cauldrons. He was a serious monk. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5373 Still wants to go to the bitter Zen sect for free meals? Xianhui resisted the urge to slap Yin Chujio to death. With a stiff face she said, Ba, I think you have a very wise route, so I paid more attention to you. Yin Chujio was flattered. Thank you for your praise, sect leader Xianhui. If it's convenient for you, can I go and ask you for some Buddhist principles? Even if Xianhui was unwilling, she could only grit her teeth and said, Of course. Yin Chujio immediately smiled and said, Sect leader Xianhui, I heard that you are the chosen sect leader personally appointed by the son of Buddha. After seeing you today, you really live up to your reputation. Not only is your cultivation profound, but you are also amiable. You are so generous to a junior like me. You are indeed an accomplished monk. Although Xianhui wished that she could slap Yin Chujio to death, no one did not like flattery. His expression softened a little. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he took his subordinates and left. The Lan family's patriarch looked at Yin Chujio suspiciously. You are not really going to provoke him, are you? Yin Chujio said with a straight face. Patriarch, mind your words. I am going to ask for Buddhist teachings. How can I use the word provoke? The ancestor of the Lan family. This troublemaker was going to be a demon. And she was going to be a demon with all kinds of tricks. What bad ideas was she planning? Although the ancestor of the Lan family was curious, it was not good to ask on the street. He could only suppress his curiosity and continue to tour Four Seasons City with the others. After returning to the inn in the afternoon, Yin Chujio came to see the ancestor of the Lan family after she woke up and took a nap. Patriarch, I'm going to the Yueli Inn where the bitter Zen sect is staying. You don't have to wait for me to have dinner. I'll eat at their place. The patriarch of the Lan family. This troublemaker really had a big heart. She still wanted to go to the bitter Zen sect to get a free meal. Wasn't she afraid that the bitter Zen sect would catch her and send her to the Divine Devil Hall? However, he thought about it again. This troublemaker was full of bad ideas. Since she dared to go, she should have some confidence. Besides, with her current cultivation, the bitter Zen sect might not be able to do anything to her. Therefore, after a moment of silence, he said, All right, be careful. Yin Chujio nodded and swaggered out of the inn. The Yueli Inn was only one street away from the Lan family's Fulai Inn. Therefore, Hei Xinjiu soon arrived at the entrance of the Yueli Inn. The bitter Zen sect had booked the entire Yueli Inn. Therefore, when the waiter saw Yin Chujio, he hurriedly said, Miss, we are already full. Please move to another inn. Yin Chujio smiled. I'm not staying here. I'm here to visit sect master Xianhui. The waiter was stunned. He didn't know what to say when he happened to see Yuanji. He quickly said, Master Yuanji, a little girl wants to visit sect master Xianhui. What do you think? Yuanji curled his lips and walked outside. When he saw that the person who came was actually the sharp-tongued little girl he saw during the day, he coldly snorted. Why are you looking for my master? After Yuan Guang died, Xianhui accepted Yuanji as her successor disciple. Yuanji could be said to be very satisfied now. When Yin Chujio saw Yuanji, she couldn't help but laugh in her heart. Wasn't this the one who was fooled by her using the chicken or the egg first? Little brother Yuanji, I want to ask sect leader Xianhui for Buddhist principles. Please help me pass on the message. Yin Chujio said with a smile. Yuanji stumbled and almost fell to the ground. What the hell? Little brother Yuanji? He must be an idiot. Didn't he know that he was a monk? Didn't he know that he was a proper monk? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5374. No comparison. No identification. Yuanji glared at Yin Chujio. Don't spout nonsense. This penniless monk abides by the rules and regulations. Don't act rashly in front of this penniless monk. Yin Chujio had an innocent look on her face. Am I wrong in calling you little brother? Aren't you a big brother or a big sister? Yuanji was so angry that his face turned red. This damned girl was simply twisting words and reasoning. She was really detestable. My master is meditating and doesn't have time to see you. Leave quickly, or else don't blame me for being impolite. Yuanji shouted sternly. Only a few people in the bitter Zen sect knew that the Divine Devil Hall had been searching for Yin Chujio. Yuanji was not clear about this. Therefore, his first reaction was not to send people to arrest Yin Chujio, but to drive her away. Yin Chujio said with a grievance, Little brother Yuanji, this is your fault. This morning, sect leader Xian, Hui had clearly promised to help me clear my doubts, but now you are shutting me out. Could it be that sect leader Xian Hui is lying to me? Didn't they say that monks don't lie? Yuanji was rendered speechless by her words. Seeing that there were more and more people watching, he could only say, Wait here, I'll go in and see if master has finished meditating. Okay. Thank you little brother Yuanji. Yin Chujio said crisply. Yuanji staggered. He had never seen such a thick-skinned female benefactor. She was simply shameless. He went to Xian Hu's room on the second floor and knocked on the door. After getting permission, he entered the room. Why is there a commotion outside? Xian Hui asked unhappily. Master, that Yin Chujio from the Lan family is here. She said that she wants to consult you on Buddhist principles. I rejected her on the grounds that you were meditating, but she refused to let it go and insisted on meeting you. Yuanji said respectfully. Xian Hui frowned. He thought that Yin Chujio was just saying that this morning. He did not expect her to really come. Could it be that this Yin Chujio's brain was not working properly? Didn't she know that he was on good terms with the Divine Devil Hall? Wasn't she afraid that he would catch her and give her to the Divine Devil Hall? Or did she have something to rely on? Xian Hui thought for a while and said, Bring her up. Although Yuanji didn't understand why Xian Hui wanted to see Yin Chujio, he still answered respectfully and brought Yin Chujio to Xian Hu's room at the door. After Yin Chujio came in, she saw that Xian Hui was still meditating on the futon and didn't want to talk to her. So she didn't feel awkward and said to Yuanji, Yuanji, I heard that the pastries of the bitter Zen sect are very good. You must have brought a lot of them with you when you went out, right? Give me 2 plates. Xian Hui, who was meditating with her eyes closed, twitched her eyes. What the hell was Yuanji? And he asked for food the moment he arrived. He was too thick-skinned. However, when he saw how impudent Yin Chujio was, he felt that she must have come prepared. She must have something to rely on. So he hesitated whether to take her down. Yuanji saw that Xian Hui did not say anything, so he did not move and pretended not to hear Yin Chujio's words. Yin Chujio sat down on the chair next to her, crossed her legs and said, Little brother Yuanji, did you not hear what I said? Your bitter Zen sect can't be so stingy, right? The Zen sect not only let me eat enough, but they also pack a lot of vegetarian dishes for me every time. TSK, there's no comparison and no identification. Upon hearing this, Xian Hui opened her eyes and said to Yuanji, You can leave first. Get someone to bring tea and snacks over. Although Yuanji really wanted to stay and see what Yin Chujio wanted to do, he didn't dare to disobey her, so he could only leave. As soon as Yuanji left, Yin Chujio fell to her knees with a plop and said with tears streaming down her face, Master, my master, little Jio has finally met you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5375. Xian Hui wanted to get up from the futon, but Hei Xinjia's master scared her so much that she sat back down on the futon. What the hell? Master? This stinky girl called him master? The first thought in Xian Hu's mind was that this stinky girl was most likely mentally ill. However, when he saw the tears on her little face and the admiration on her face, he felt a little strange. What kind of trick was this stinky girl playing? Xian Hui calmed herself down and asked, Why do you call me master? Yin Chujio said sincerely, Master, It was Buddha who told me in my dream that you and I were master and disciple in our previous life. In our previous life, you died miserably in order to save me. You died without a complete corpse. Buddha told me to become master and disciple again with you to end the karma. Otherwise, both you and I will be unable to ascend because of the karma. When Xianhui heard the words dead without a complete corpse, her expression immediately turned ugly. What nonsense was she spouting? He and this wretched girl were master and disciple in their previous life? And he even died miserably in order to save her? What nonsense? Benefactor Yin, don't spout nonsense. If this is the reason why you are here, then please leave. Xianhui said with a dark expression. When he said this, he secretly observed Yin Chujia's reaction, because he was still hesitating whether to capture Yin Chujio. Yin Chujia's tears fell one after another, and she said with a sobbing voice, Master, what I said is true. If not for this, why would I risk my life to find you? Buddha also said that he deliberately arranged for the reincarnation of the lonely Buddha to enlighten you. Otherwise, why did the lonely Buddha remain silent until you interacted with the Zen sect? Why did he appear out of nowhere? Therefore, after you were confident of taking over as the sect master, the lonely Buddha retired successfully. Otherwise, think about it, how could the lonely Buddha be killed so easily? Xianhui frowned when she heard that. This stupid girl sounded like it was true. Whether it was lonely's birth or death, it was quite strange. Could it be that the Buddha really sent him to enlighten him? Impossible, this stinky girl must be talking nonsense. Maybe it was a conspiracy of the Lan family. He said coldly, what you said is a bit far-fetched. Other than that, what other evidence do you have to prove what you said? Yin Chujio said aggrievedly, there's no other evidence. Master, do you really not recognize me? I'm such an obedient, smart, and good-looking disciple. But it's a once-in-lifetime opportunity. The corner of Xianhui's mouth twitched. Obedient, smart, and good-looking? She should be shameless. Pretend that you didn't come today. You can go back. Xianhui said coldly. Yin Chujio said with a determined face, Master, it's okay if you don't recognize me. I will recognize you. From now on, your matters are my matters. I will do my best to help you. Xianhui was about to say something, but she continued, Master, why hasn't senior brother Yuanji delivered the refreshments? Is he eavesdropping on us? Yuanji, who had just walked to the door and was about to eavesdrop, shook his hand, and the tray in his hand almost fell to the ground. Xianhui coughed, and Yuanji pushed the door open with a red face and walked in. Yuanji placed the tea and pastries on the table, and was about to leave when he heard Yin Chujio say, Senior brother Yuanji, I will have vegetarian dinner with my master tonight. Go and make the arrangements. Yuanji was a little confused. How did his master become her master in such a short time? What exactly happened? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5376. Don't be embarrassed. Xianhui heard Yin Chujio talking to herself in a friendly manner, and said coldly, Almsgiver Yin, don't spout nonsense. I'm not your master. Anyway, it will happen sooner or later. Master, don't be embarrassed. Yin Chujio said with a smile. Xianhui, who the fuck is embarrassed? It's clearly your wishful thinking. Amipa. A monk does not speak nonsense when he has sinned. Xianhui said to Yuanji, send Almsgiver Yin out. For a moment, he could not figure out Yin Chujio's reason for coming, so he gave up the idea of making a move. Yin Chujio immediately cried like rain. Master, why are you so heartless? It's not easy for me to see you. I just said a few words, and you want me to leave? I'm not leaving. If I want to leave, I have to eat vegetarian rice before I leave. Xianhui. Was this smelly girl reluctant to part with him or her vegetarian meal? Xianhui was about to let Yuanji send her off when Yin Chujio said sobbingly, If you chase me away, I'll sit at the entrance of the inn and cry. Let's see who's embarrassed. Yuanji cursed in his heart. Of course, you're the one who's embarrassed. However, he thought about it again. This smelly girl was shameless. If she were to make a scene, it seemed that they would lose face. Xianhui was obviously thinking the same, He thought that it was not a big deal to let her have a vegetarian meal. It would be a good opportunity to get some information out of her. Perhaps they would be able to get some useful information out of her. Hence, he said to Yuanji, then prepare an extra person's vegetarian meal. You may leave now. Yin Shujio immediately broke into a smile. Master, I knew that you loved me the most. As expected, Buddha did not lie to me. Xianhui couldn't see any trace of pretense on her face, and her heart was slightly shaken. Could it be that what this stinky girl said was true? Does the master of the Lan family know that you came to my place? Xianhui asked coldly. I know. The old ancestor has always doted on me. Although he thinks that I'm fooling around, he still can't persuade me, Yin Shujio said with a smile. A sneer appeared on the corner of Xianhui's mouth. She didn't continue the topic and said, I heard that you have a very good relationship with the people of the Zen sect. If you acknowledge me as your master, how will you treat those people of the Zen sect? Yin Shujio sighed. In fact, I have thought about this question many times. The palm and the back of the hand are all flesh. It's really difficult to deal with. However, master, you lost your life for me in your previous life. I naturally have to put you first. Whatever you say. If you want to destroy the Zen sect, I will help you destroy the Zen sect. As long as you don't kill them, it will be fine. The sneer on the corner of Xianhui's mouth grew thicker. She said again, what if I want to use you and the Divine Devil Hall in exchange for benefits? Yin Shujio was stunned and sighed again. Even so, I will accept it. I owe you everything. If you are willing, tie me up and send me to the Divine Devil Hall now. I have no complaints. Hearing that, Xianhui immediately raised her hand and made a gesture to attack Yin Shujio. However, she saw Yin Shujio looking at him sadly. She had no intention to hide, but tears were falling from the corner of her eyes. Xianhui could not do it anymore. It was not that he could not bear it, but he was suspicious in his heart. Could it be that what the little girl said was true? If what she said was true, if she died, wouldn't there be no hope for him to ascend? Xianhui decided to test him again, so she withdrew her hand and said, I'm just assuming. Tell me about the Zen sect. Yin Shujio saw that he did not make a move, and she was delighted. This Xianhui was much easier to deal with than the old fox of the Lan family. She did not believe that she could not fool him. Chapter 5377. Chicken or egg first. Yin Shujio started talking about the Zen sect with Xianhui. Of course, what she said could be said. Even if Xianhui knew about it, it would not be a threat to the Zen sect. As Yin Shujio's words were vivid and interesting, Xianhui did not feel bored. Soon it was time for the evening meal. Yin Shujio did not stand on ceremony. She ate happily and called him master more affectionately. Yuanji was also invited to eat with her. He was completely dumbfounded, because he found that after Yin Shujio called him master, his master did not refute her like before. Could it be that his master really took this Yin Shujio as his disciple? Was the world changing too fast, or was he unable to keep up with the pace? This Yin Shujio was clearly on good terms with the Zen sect. Why did she come to be his master's disciple again? Yin Shujio was almost done eating. She looked at Yuanji with a smile and said, Senior brother Yuanji, I heard that you encountered a very difficult problem during the 10,000 Buddhas grand meeting, right? Yuanji suddenly looked like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. There was a chicken or an egg first, and there was a goose or a goose egg first. This was the humiliation of his life. He suddenly said with some anger, What do you mean by bringing this up? It's just loneliness. Buddha child playing with me. He wanted to scold loneliness, but then he remembered that he was the reincarnation of Buddha, so it was better not to scold him. Senior brother Yuanji, Buddha loneliness may not be playing with you. If there is one, then there is another. In this life there is another. If there is no one, then there is no one. If there is destruction, then there is destruction. Buddha talks about the origin, and all things have no beginning. Since there is no beginning, how can there be a chicken or an egg first? Therefore this debate is not valid at all. I think lonely little Buddha is testing your understanding of the Buddhist scriptures, Yin Shujio said with a faint smile. Both Yuanji and Xianhui were stunned. Xianhui seemed to have been enlightened. She put her palms together and said, Ba. I see. The Buddhist Dharma is profound. This penniless monk really cannot break 1 in 10,000. However, Xianhui soon thought of a question. How did you know? Yin Chuzhou blinked and said, Buddha told me in his dream. Otherwise, how would I know such a profound Buddhist scripture? Xianhui was skeptical and did not say anything else. Yin Chuzhou continued to mumble and then stood up. Master, it's getting late. I'll go back first. I'll come back tomorrow morning to pay my respects to you. Before Xianhui could reject him, He Xinjiu put the unfinished pastries on the plate into her storage ring. Her attitude was natural, and her skin was thick. It was unheard of and unheard of. While he was stunned, Yin Chuzhou had already walked to the door and said to Yuanji, Senior brother Yuanji, shouldn't you send me back to the inn? I'm so pretty. It's too dangerous for me to go back alone. Yuanji was speechless. Does this stupid girl have any shame? Xianhui's eyes flashed. Yuanji, send her back to the inn. Yuanji was stunned and even more dumbfounded. Could it be that master really wanted to take in a female disciple? However, he did not dare to disobey, so he could only follow Yin Chuzhou out of Xianhui's room and send her back to the inn. On the way, Yin Chuzhou suddenly seemed to have changed into a different person. She did not say a word and only silently shed tears. Yuanji could not help but ask, Why are you crying? Yin Chuzhou only cried without saying a word. In the end, she covered her face and ran back to Fu Lai Inn. Chapter 5378. Junior sister Yin is lively and cute. Yuanji was completely confused. He shook his head, turned around, and returned to the inn to see Xianhui. Yuanji told him about the situation on the road, and then asked tentatively, Master, do you really want to take that Yin Chuzhou as your disciple? Xianhui glared at him. Think before you speak. How could I possibly take a woman as my disciple? Get out. Yuanji retreated in embarrassment, but he was cursing in his heart. Since he didn't want to take her as his disciple, why did he talk to her all afternoon? Why did he still let her stay for dinner? Why did he still let him send her back to the inn? It was obvious that their relationship was unusual. He suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Could it be that that stinky girl was Master's illegitimate daughter? The more Yuanji thought about it, the more he felt that this possibility was greater. Otherwise, why would that stinky girl cry so sadly? Moreover, why was his master's attitude towards her so kind? Yuanji, who thought that he had seen through the truth, decided to treat Yin Chuzhou better. After all, his disciple could not be compared to his master's daughter. Xianhui did not know that her disciple had misunderstood. He pondered in his heart, but he still could not understand Yin Chuzhou's intention. Why did she shamelessly acknowledge him as her master? Moreover, she kept crying on the way back. Could it be that what she said was true? Did she really want to acknowledge him as her master? The more Xianhui thought about it, the more frustrated he became. He knew that his scheming was not as powerful as the dead Xianji. Otherwise, he would not have been suppressed all this time. Why not ask someone else? However, it was not good to tell others about such a confidential matter. After thinking for a while, he called Yuanji back. What do you think of that Yin Chuzhou? Since Yuanji had his previous guess, he naturally did not dare to say anything bad about Yin Chuzhou. So he said, Master, I think junior sister Yin is lively and cute, and also very smart. Junior sister Yin? He recognized her faster than him. Then why do you think she recognized me as her master? Xianhui asked again. Yuanji thought to himself, of course it was for the reunion of father and daughter. What else could it be for? However, he couldn't say it out loud. After all, he couldn't let others know that he had a daughter for no reason. Therefore, he thought for a long time before saying, It should be a heartfelt affection for her. Xianhui was even more dumbfounded. Heartfelt feelings of admiration? Even Yuanji could see through it. Could it be that that smelly girl really wanted to take him as her master sincerely, because of Buddha's dream? Putting aside whether what she said was true or not, even if it was true, the price to break with the divine devil hall for her was too high. Just as Xian Hui was thinking about it, someone came up to report. Sect Master. Someone from the Divine Devil Hall has come. Xian Hui frowned and asked Yuan Ji to invite the people from the Divine Devil Hall in. A moment later, a man wearing a purple mask entered the room. The person cupped his hands. Sect Leader Xian Hui. I am Qi Dong, the guardian of the Divine Devil Hall. Xian Hui was not particularly familiar with the people from the Divine Devil Hall, because Xian Ji had avoided him previously, afraid that he would have a good relationship with the Divine Devil Hall and threaten his position as the sect leader. Therefore, Xian Hui had never seen Qi Dong before. However, he had heard of the 4 great protectors of the Divine Devil Hall. He nodded and said, Protector Qi Dong, please take a seat. The two of them exchanged a few pleasantries before Xian Hui said, Protector Qi Dong, is there anything important that you came here for? Qi Dong smiled and said, I heard that Yin Chujiu came here this afternoon and stayed for a long time. Is that true? Chapter 5379 The Divine Devil Temple went too far. Xian Hui was not too surprised to hear Qi Dong's words. After all, this 4-season city was the Divine Devil Temple's territory, so it was natural that there were spies everywhere. However, although Qi Dong's tone was inquisitive, there was a hint of questioning in it. Xian Hui felt a little dissatisfied. Although he was dissatisfied, there was nothing unusual on his face. He nodded and said, That's right, there is such a thing. Qi Dong immediately asked, Why did she come looking for you? What a pity. If we can capture her, it will solve a huge problem for our Divine Devil Hall. Xian Hui was even more displeased. Was Qi Dong blaming him? If their Divine Devil Hall wanted to capture Yin Chujiu, they could have captured her when she came alone, or when she went back. Why should they blame him for not capturing her? Could it be that the Divine Devil Hall was the only one who had scruples, and the bitter Zen sect did not have scruples? This was outrageous. Xian Hui had originally planned to tell him everything that happened in the afternoon, but he felt that if he told the truth, Qi Dong would probably be even more suspicious of the bitter Zen sect. So he said with a cold tone, It's nothing. She came to ask me for some Buddhist principles. Qi Dong's pupils constricted. Buddhist principles? Xian Hui was obviously not telling the truth. Yin Chujiu had always been on good terms with the Zen sect, so there was no need for her to come and ask Xian Hui for advice. Besides, asking the Buddhist principles for an entire afternoon, and only returning after dark? And she had even asked Yuan Ji to personally send her back. There must be something wrong with this. If it weren't for Yuan Ji accompanying Yin Chujiu, his subordinates might have directly snatched her away. Moreover, it was said that Yin Chujiu had been crying nonstop on the way back. It was obvious that something had happened. This Xian Hui must be lying. Qi Dong's tone immediately turned cold. Sect leader Xian Hui, we have always been in a cooperative relationship, and our cooperation has been quite pleasant. Isn't it inappropriate for you to lie to me like this? Xian Hui was not a good-natured person to begin with. When she heard Qi Dong being so aggressive, her face immediately darkened. Guardian Qi Dong, where did you get this idea from? If you don't believe me, you can just ask your people to monitor my every move, so that you won't have to go to the trouble of interrogating me. Qi Dong was stunned. When Xian Ji was the sect leader, he had treated him rather humbly. How could he be like this Xian Hui, who had turned hostile just like that? He suppressed the anger in his heart. The Chongshao Grand Meeting was about to begin. He could not lose the big one because of the small one. So he squeezed out a smile and said, Sect leader Xian Hui, I'm sorry. I spoke too harshly just now. I was also worried and confused. You also know that Yin Chujiu is very important to our Divine Devil Hall, so I spoke a little too hastily. Please forgive me. Xian Hui sneered in her heart, but she pulled back her words and said, Protector Qi Dong, you don't have to say that. I was also annoyed by that Yin Chujiu for the whole afternoon. I wanted to capture her and send her to your Divine Devil Hall, but I saw that she was not afraid at all. I was afraid that she had some tricks up her sleeve, so I didn't make a move. Qi Dong had the heart to question why Xian Hui had sent Yuan Ji to escort Yin Chujiu back to the inn. However, he was afraid that he would anger Xianhui again, so he could only laugh and say, I see. That Yin Chujio has always been full of tricks. It's only right for sect leader Xianhui to be more careful. The two of them exchanged a few more pleasantries before Qi Dong stood up and left. Seeing that Qi Dong had left, Xianhui was so angry that she slammed the teacup in her hand onto the ground. The Divine Devil Hall had gone too far. Chapter 5380, Master. I'm here to see you. Xianhui recalled Qi Dong's questioning tone, and became even angrier. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Previously, Xianji and the Divine Devil Hall were very close, and the Divine Devil Hall must have been dissatisfied with him taking over as the sect master. They were picking on him, and deliberately came to find fault with him. He thought about it, and also hated Yin Chujio. If it wasn't for that stinky girl who insisted on acknowledging him as her master, there wouldn't be such a troublesome matter. Wait. Xianhui was shocked. Could it be that the stupid girl's purpose was to sow discord? He thought about it again, and felt that he was thinking too much. No matter how smart that stupid girl was, she would never think that the people from the Divine Devil Hall would question him. However, it was a little strange that she suddenly came to acknowledge him as her master. Xianhui couldn't figure out whether Yin Chujio was intentionally sowing discord, and he didn't sleep well that night. However, he still woke up on time to do his morning lessons. He was very proud of this. Compared to Xianji, he was a real monk. Just as Xianhui finished her morning lessons and was about to eat breakfast, Yuanji knocked on the door and came in. Master, junior sister Yin is here. She is waiting downstairs. Xianhui glared at him. Bastard. Where did you get a junior sister? Tell that brat to go back to where she came from. If she doesn't leave, you will threaten her to send her to the Divine Devil Hall. Yuanji was dumbfounded. Last night when he addressed junior sister Yin, didn't his master not refute him? Why did he go back on his words after one night? Junior sister Yin was really pitiful. Even her biological father did not acknowledge her. No wonder she cried so sadly last night. Yuanji thought again. Yesterday someone from the Divine Devil Hall came. Could it be that he had said something to his master, and that was why his master changed his mind? Perhaps his master had no choice but to do this for junior sister Yun's sake. Yuanji thought that he had understood the truth of the matter and comforted him. Master, I understand the helplessness in your heart. I will chase junior sister Yin away now. Xianhui. This disciple of his must be an idiot, right? He was just about to reprimand him when Yuanji had already pushed open the door and left, so he could only give up. Yuanji went downstairs and sighed. Master Yin, Benefactor Yin, Master is currently meditating and has no time to see you. Please go back. Yin Chujio immediately revealed a tearful expression. Senior brother Yuanji, I have something important to see, Master. I hope you can accommodate me. Yuanji shook his head. Benefactor Yin, Master said that if you don't leave now, he will send someone to capture you and send you to the Divine Devil Hall. You'd better leave quickly. Yin Chujio looked at Yuanji in disbelief and asked with a trembling voice. Master really said that? Although Yuanji could not bear it, he still said, You should leave now. Hearing this, Yin Chujio covered her face and ran out of the inn while sobbing. Yuanji sighed and returned to Xianhui's room. Master Yin, Benefactor Yin has already left. She just left in tears. Xianhui snorted coldly and waved her hand to let Yuanji leave. Xianhui's heart was even more troubled. What was Yin Chujio's motive? If she was sincerely trying to sow discord, why did she leave so easily? Moreover, she said so earnestly yesterday, saying that she had to acknowledge him as her master. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to ascend. How could she give up so easily? Just as Xianhui was thinking, she looked at the window in a daze. A small head popped out from the window, smiling brightly. Master, I'm here to see you. Xianhui. Chapter 5381. Fatherly love. While Xianhui was still in a daze, Yin Chujio had already climbed into the house through the window. Xian Hu's room was close to the street, so it was not difficult for her to climb in. However, Xian Hui did not expect that a little girl like Yin Chujio would climb into the house in broad daylight. Yin Chujio sat on the chair, as if she was familiar with it. When she saw the untouched breakfast, she was touched and said, "Master, did you specially save this breakfast for me? You are so nice to me." As he spoke, he began to eat happily. Xian Hui. That was his breakfast. His. Xian Hui slammed the table. Yin Chujio, don't think that I don't dare to do anything to you. Don't go too far. Yin Chujio continued to eat her breakfast slowly, as if she didn't hear anything. Leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will have someone capture you and send you to the Divine Devil Hall, Xian Hui said through gritted teeth. Yin Chujio took a bite of the steamed bun and said with a smile, "Master, it's so early in the morning. Why are you so angry? Did senior brother Yuanji make you angry?" Yuanji, who came to collect the dishes outside the door. Was he hearing things? Why did he hear junior sister Yun's voice? Could it be that Master told him to chase junior sister Yun away, just for the Divine Devil Hall to see? But how did junior sister Yun come in? He was really curious, so he knocked twice and pushed the door open without waiting for Xian Hu's permission. When he saw Yin Chujio eating breakfast, he suddenly felt a myriad of emotions. Just look, he knew that Master loved junior sister Yun very much. Otherwise, why would he rather let junior sister Yun eat it than eat it himself? This was the love of a father. Xian Hui saw Yuanji's strange expression and became even angrier. She said angrily, "Why are you still standing there? Chase her out." Yuanji sighed. "Master, I'm not an outsider. Why do you have to hide in front of me? Don't worry, I understand all your intentions. I won't go out and say anything. I'll stand guard outside for you." After Yuanji said that, he quickly left and stood guard at the door. After thinking for a while, he retreated a distance to avoid hearing things that he shouldn't have heard. Xian Hui was furious. He was really blind back then. How could he choose such an idiot as his disciple? No wonder he was confused by the chicken or the egg first. It was simply a pig's brain. Yin Chujio was also a little confused. Did that Yuanji misunderstand something? However, it seemed that the effect was not bad. If he wanted to misunderstand, then so be it. Yin Chujio was almost done eating. She slumped into the chair and said, "Master, I feel that I have lived in vain before. After seeing you, my life has meaning." Xian Hui sneered and did not say anything. Since he was disturbed by that idiot Yuanji, he wanted to see what Yin Chujio's purpose was. He didn't believe that he, the sect master of the Bitter Zen sect, couldn't see through a little girl's scheme. However, he didn't expect that Yin Chujio would take out a futon from her storage ring, put it on the ground, and said with a smile, "Master, let me meditate with you." Xian Hu's eyes flashed. Although he had only met Yin Chujio twice, he could already see that this little girl's character was quite jumpy and definitely didn't have the patience to meditate. He wanted to see how she would end up. Thus, Xian Hui closed his eyes and started meditating. Yes, he was starving. Yin Chujio also obediently sat on the futon to meditate. Xian Hui initially thought that Yin Chujio would not be able to sit still very soon. Who would have thought that after an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, Yin Chujio would still sit on the futon to meditate obediently. Chapter 5382 Father's love is like a mountain. Xian Hui couldn't help but ask, "How did you last so long? Have you meditated before?" Yin Chujio immediately grimaced and said, "Ayo, master, you finally spoke to me. I couldn't help it for a long time. My back is aching. But we agreed to meditate with you. I can't give up halfway, can I? No wonder you became an eminent monk. Let's not talk about other things. The ability to meditate is not something an ordinary person can compare to." As she spoke, Yin Chujio stood up and kept moving her hands and feet. It was obvious that it was very uncomfortable to not move for a long time. Xian Hui was a little touched. She did not expect this little girl to be so sincere. Otherwise, she would not have accompanied him to meditate for 4 hours. Even so, he could not be soft-hearted. He thought for a moment and said, I don't care what your purpose is. I will not accept you as my disciple. Even if what you said is true, I will not offend the divine devil hall because of you. You can go back and pretend that nothing happened. Yin Chujio immediately said with a grievance, Master, if we don't end the cause and effect, you will not be able to ascend. You have to think twice. Xian Hui was unmoved and closed her eyes to continue meditating. Master, is it because of the divine devil hall that you don't want to acknowledge me? Yin Chujio asked with a sobbing voice. Xian Hui didn't react at all, as if she didn't hear Yin Chujio's words. Master, what's so good about the divine devil hall, that it's worth you giving up ascending for them? Putting everything else aside, I heard that the divine devil hall has a very good relationship with that old, perverted, and ghost Xianji from before. And you killed that Xianji, so they must be dissatisfied with you. Xian Hui still did not say anything, but her eyelids trembled slightly. Yin Chujio curled the corners of her mouth slightly and continued. Besides, if you want to ascend, you must enter the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall. Don't tell me you want to enter the divine devil hall. You cultivate Buddhist power. I heard from my ancestor that in the divine enlightenment continent, the divine devil hall and the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall don't have a good relationship. If you enter the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall, they will know that you have a good relationship with the divine devil hall, and they might think that you are a spy. Xian Hui still didn't say anything, but her eyelids were trembling even more. She was even holding the Buddha bead much faster. It was obvious that she was very anxious. He had to admit that what Yin Chujio said made sense. If he had stayed in the Chongshao continent, it wouldn't have mattered. The 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall wouldn't care too much about the relationship between the bitter Zen sect and the divine devil hall. However, if he really ascended, or if it involved the interests of the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall, it was likely that his relationship with the divine devil hall was a hidden danger, a huge hidden danger. Thinking of this, he hated Xianji to death. Back then, he did not agree to cooperate with the divine devil hall. But Xianji insisted, so there was nothing he could do. He was ready to hear what Yin Chujio would say next. But he was disappointed to find that Yin Chujio did not continue. Instead, she continued to meditate with him. Xian Hu's heart was like a cat scratching it. She felt that Yin Chujio still had something important to say, but it was not good to rush her. Her heart was in a mess. Xian Hui thought for a moment and shouted to the outside. Yuan Ji, prepare the vegetarian meal. He felt that he could take advantage of the vegetarian meal to get the rest of Yin Chujio's words. Yuan Ji, who was outside, misunderstood and cursed in his heart. Just look, he said that the sect leader treated junior sister Yin differently. Usually, their sect leader didn't eat much for lunch, but today, he eagerly asked him to prepare lunch. Indeed, a father's love was like a mountain. Chapter 5383 was too simple for you soon. The vegetarian rice was served, and there was a big food box. Junior sister Yin, this was specially left for you to take away, Yuanji said fawningly. Yin Chujio was stunned and then said with a smile, Thank you, senior brother Yuanji. Yuanji chuckled. Junior sister Yin, this is what I should do. In fact, master dotes on you very much, scram. Xian Hui could not take it anymore. She had the thought of expelling this idiot from the sect. Yuanji thought that Xian Hui was embarrassed, so he smiled sheepishly and left. Although Yin Chujio did not know what Yuanji had misunderstood, she was happy to see it happen. She smiled at Xian Hui and said, Master, can we eat now? Xian Hui thought, now you know how to be reserved? Why didn't you ask me when we were eating in the morning? It made me hungry until now. However, he still wanted to trick her, so he nodded. Yin Chujio immediately picked up her chopsticks and started eating. The dishes of the bitter Zen sect tasted better than those of the Zen sect. It was a waste not to eat them. Seeing that she was eating so sweetly, Xian Hui also felt a little hungry and started eating. When she was almost done eating, Xian Hui said, In order to avoid suspicion from the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall, our bitter Zen sect and the Divine Devil Hall will have less contact in the future. However, this doesn't mean that I am willing to become enemies with the Divine Devil Hall. So I won't accept you. You can leave after you finish eating. Yin Chujio put down her chopsticks and sighed. Master, you think too simply. Alas, for your sake. I can't eat well and sleep well, so I lost a few kilograms in one night. Xianhui looked at the empty bowl in front of her, and the corner of her mouth twitched. He didn't know whether this stinky girl was asleep or not, but she was talking nonsense. However, he wanted to know what she said later, so he said, Oh, why do I think it's simple? Master, even if you don't contact the Divine Devil Hall anymore, the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall will think that you two are connected. Xianhui disapproved and said, What you said is too arbitrary. The 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall will definitely investigate thoroughly. Yin Chujio smiled bitterly and said, Master, I heard that the old ancestor met 3 masters of the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall in the Bitter Zen sect. He was very arrogant. Presumably, their status in the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall would not be too high. But even they were so arrogant. One could imagine how arrogant the higher-ups of the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall would be. If that's the case, how could they have the patience to investigate whether you and the Divine Devil Hall are still connected? Once you ascend into the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall, or if the Divine Devil Hall in the Chongsha continent touches the interests of the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall, in order to avoid trouble, they will directly kill you. Xianhui's expression suddenly changed. He remembered that Yin Chang and the other 2 wanted to kill Lone the moment they arrived at the Bitter Zen sect. They did not want to investigate anything at all. Later, if Lone had not voluntarily entered the Devil Refining Pagoda, he would have been killed on the spot. If he encountered the situation that Yin Chujio had mentioned in the future, the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall probably would not give him a chance to explain. In the eyes of the people of the 10,000 Buddha's sacred hall, he was an ant-like existence. He could kill as he wished without any scruples. The more Xianhui thought about it, the more afraid he became. Cold sweat could not help but break out on his forehead. Just as he was thinking about it, he heard Yin Chujio continue, Alas! Master, I have to say, that dead Xianji deserves to be cut into pieces. He is simply an idiot without a brain. He should never have colluded with the Divine Devil Hall. This is simply dragging the entire Bitter Zen sect into eternal damnation. Chapter 5384. Xianhui's doubts. Xianhui was originally dissatisfied with Xianji. After hearing Yin Chujio's words, she subconsciously nodded in agreement. However, he immediately realized that he had lost his composure. He coughed and said, The reason why Xianji cooperated with the Divine Devil Hall is to fight against the Zen sect and take back what should belong to our Bitter Zen sect. Yin Chujio curled her lips and said, Master, my words may sound unpleasant, but since things have come to this, I can only tell you the truth. What do you mean by what should belong to the Bitter Zen sect? It was the ancestors of the Bitter Zen sect who left the Zen sect voluntarily, and they didn't leave empty-handed. They took away a lot of good things. This is the same as the branch families of the big families in the secular world. Since they had already split up, now they want to snatch their things. They are too shameless. Xianhui's old face turned red. Just as she was about to fly into a rage, she heard Yin Chujio continue. Master, what I said just now was a little harsh, but the Zen Buddhism sect chose to join the Divine Devil Hall to deal with the Zen Buddhism sect. They were really out of their mind. Originally, the Zen Buddhism sect and the Zen Buddhism sect came from the same lineage. When things happen, they can completely band together to face the outside world. As long as you guys band together, you can call the wind and summon the rain in the Chongsha continent. Even if the 10,000 Buddhist sacred palace makes things difficult for you, they wouldn't dare to go too far in the Chongsha continent. Yin Chujio sighed heavily again. Now, your Bitter Zen sect has chosen to collude with the Divine Devil Hall and offended the Zen sect. When the 10,000 Buddhist sacred palace comes to settle the scores with your Bitter Zen sect, the Divine Devil Hall will definitely stand by and watch. At that time, your Bitter Zen sect will be isolated, and have no one to help you. I even suspect that Xianji might be a spy planted by the Divine Devil Hall in the Bitter Zen sect. Otherwise, why would he make such an unwise choice when he is so cunning? Xianhui kept twirling the Buddha bead. Fortunately, the Buddha bead was relatively sturdy. Otherwise, it would have been crushed into pieces by him. His heart was in a mess now. On one hand, he felt that Yin Chujio was trying to sow discord and had no good intentions. On the other hand, he felt that what she said made sense, especially when she said that Xianji might be a spy from the Divine Devil Hall. He felt that it was really possible. Most of the disciples of the Bitter Zen sect had become monks in the Bitter Zen sect since they were young. Xianji, on the other hand, only joined the Bitter Zen sect when he was in his 20s. However, because of his high aptitude, he was able to cause trouble. Later on, he became the successor disciple of the former sect master. What was even more strange was that before Xianji, the former sect master had a disciple who was also an extremely talented person. However, he died during a mission, and the position of sect master fell to Xianji. Although the Bitter Zen sect was not as rigid as the Zen sect, they also abided by the rules and regulations. However, after that, Xianji had gotten many women to be his furnaces and cauldrons. No matter how he looked at it, he did not look like a proper monk. Could it be that the Divine Devil Hall had really planted spies in the Bitter Zen sect? When he thought of Qi Dong's attitude yesterday, the suspicion in his heart grew even more. Could it be that Qi Dong was dissatisfied with him because he had killed Xianji? Yin Chujia's eyes flickered when she saw that Xianhui was about to twist the Buddhist bead in her hand away. She did not expect to incite Xianhui to revolt now, but once the seed of suspicion was planted, it would sooner or later break out of the ground and grow into a towering tree. She did not call Xianhui her master for nothing. She was not lacking a master. Once the Bitter Zen sect and the Divine Devil Hall fell out, the Qi family, Mu family, and Zhuang family might also turn against them. At that time, the Divine Devil Hall would be isolated and helpless. She wanted to see what else the Divine Devil Hall could stir up. Chapter 5385 was a flawless plan. Master, the 10,000 Buddha's grand meeting is going to be held tomorrow. I won't disturb you anymore. I'll come and pay my respects to you another day, Yin Chujio said. Xianhui's heart was in a mess now, and she didn't have the mood to probe Yin Chujio anymore. She called Yuanji and Yin Chujio to leave. Xianhui originally wanted Yuanji to send Yin Chujio downstairs, but Yuanji misunderstood and sent Yin Chujio directly back to Fu Lian. After Yuanji left, Yin Chujio was called over by the Lan family's patriarch. After Yin Chujio came back yesterday, the Lan family's patriarch wanted to ask her about it, but Yin Chujio said that she was not feeling well, so she didn't go to see him. The Lan family's patriarch didn't know what this guy was up to, so he didn't ask. In the end, this guy went to Yulian early in the morning. It was already afternoon, and he came back. What did you go to the Bitter Zen sect for? The ancestor of the Lan family asked with a sullen face. Yin Chujio took out the pastries that Yuanji had packed for her and said with a smile, Ancestor, this was given to me by Xianhui. Please try it. The ancestor of the Lan family looked at the pastries in the food box and thought that Xianhui was most likely crazy. He actually didn't capture Yin Chujio and give her to the Divine Devil Hall. He even let her eat, and even gave her pastries? Was this Xianhui's brain damaged? The Lan family's ancestor's gaze fell on Yin Chujio again and asked, Don't change the topic. Why did you run to see Xianhui? Yin Chujio's smile became even brighter. I went to acknowledge Xianhui as my master. The Lan family's ancestor almost jumped up from his chair. What was this troublemaker saying? She took Xianhui as her master? What was the difference between this and a mouse paying a New Year's visit to a cat? Did he mishear, or was this troublemaker extremely audacious? The ancestor of the Lan family paused for a while and then said, What did Xianhui say? Did she agree? The ancestor of the Lan family thought that Xianhui would only agree unless she was crazy. However, this troublemaker seemed to be in high spirits. Could it be that she really agreed? I haven't agreed yet, but I will agree sooner or later. After all, it's rare to meet such a smart, good-looking and filial disciple of mine, Yin Chujio said with a smile. The ancestor of the Lan family glared at her. Tell me in detail what happened. Yin Chujio did not hide it. She said it once and then said, Xianhui is different from Xianji. The reason why I chose him to be the sect leader was firstly to get rid of Xianji. Secondly, it was because he was not that calculative and was easier to fool. The Lan family's ancestor. He was both shocked and shocked. This plan had probably been set up since she entered the devil refining pagoda. This troublemaker's meticulous mind was truly terrifying. Lonesome Golden Cicada's escape had not only avoided the fear of the 10,000 Buddha sacred hall, but also successfully eliminated Xianji and buried the hidden line of Xianhui. It was truly a flawless plan. According to her, sooner or later, Xianhui would break off with the Divine Devil Hall. Moreover, under the matchmaking of this troublemaker, she might turn the conflict with the Zen sect into amicable friendship. In this way, the situation of the Chongshao continent would be completely changed. Sooner or later, the godly devil temple would be attacked by the crowd and eventually destroyed. And the beginning of all this started from this troublemaker, pretending to be a small monk. The Lan family's patriarch felt that he had nothing more to ask. Moreover, he had made up his mind that he would tell everyone about his plan after the Chongshao Grand Meeting, because he felt that if he were to compare himself with this troublemaker, he might raise a stone and throw it at his own feet. Chapter 5386. Xianhui Yin Chujio hummed a tune as she came out of the Lan family's old ancestor's house and returned to her own room. The feeling of letting her play around with all the major powers as a chess piece was simply too good. This guy ate a spirit fruit, and his black eyes rolled around. He picked up the voice transmission talisman and said, Lung Yin, keep an eye on Dian Yu Lian. Once you see anyone from the Divine Devil Hall coming over, report to me immediately. After this guy received Lung Yin's reply, he picked up the voice transmission talisman from Master Liaowu. After saying a few words, he crossed his legs and began to read the script. She was quite happy. Ever since she left, Xianhui had been pacing back and forth in the room. His mind was filled with Yin Chujio's words. He no longer cared whether what Yin Chujio said about master and disciple karma was true or not, because he felt that what Yin Chujio said later was the main point. Should he continue to cooperate with the Divine Devil Hall? Or should he break with the Divine Devil Hall and make peace with the Zen sect? This was really a difficult decision to make. No matter which choice he made, there were pros and cons. He was really worried to death. Xianhui had a bad temper to begin with, and now she was even more irritated. So when she heard that Qi Dong had come again, she was quite impatient. She wanted to avoid meeting him, but she was afraid of offending Qi Dong. So she had to ask Yuan Ji to invite Qi Dong to his room. Qi Dong entered the room and exchanged a few pleasantries. Then he probed, Sect leader Xianhui, I heard that Yin Chujio came again this morning? And she climbed in through the window. She came to ask for Buddhist teachings again? Qi Dong sneered in his heart. He had never heard of anyone who climbed in through the window to ask for Buddhist teachings. This Xianhui definitely did not tell the truth yesterday. What exactly was he doing with that Yin Chujio? When Xianhui heard this, her heart immediately became even more unhappy. The Divine Devil Hall was simply spying on and interrogating him like a criminal. This was really outrageous. He suppressed the anger in his heart and said, She accompanied me to meditate for 4 hours before leaving. I wanted to kick her out, but she was just a little girl and refused to leave. I couldn't force her out. After all, there are so many eyes in Four Seasons City. Xianhui thought that what he said was the truth. That stupid girl indeed meditated with him for 4 hours. However, Qi Dong didn't believe it. That Yin Chujio was very temperamental. How could she meditate for 4 hours? This Xianhui was even so perfunctory in lying. She did not put him in her eyes at all. It was really detestable. Qi Dong said with a somewhat gloomy face, Sect leader Xianhui, our Divine Devil Hall has always been very happy to cooperate with your bitter Zen sect. I don't want to cause unnecessary trouble because of some things. So please tell me the truth. What exactly did that Yin Chujo come to you for? Qi Dong's original intention was to remind Xian Hui not to lose the big because of the small, but these words changed in Xian Hui's ears. He felt that Qi Dong was accusing him of not being sensible enough to deal with the situation. While he was angry, he remembered that Yin Chujo said that Xianji might be a member of the Divine Devil Hall, and his heart suddenly moved. He sighed. Protector Qi Dong, to tell you the truth, although Xianji's character is not good, he is better than me in this aspect. Qi Dong did not say anything. What else could he say? However, when he did not say anything, Xian Hui became even more suspicious that Xianji was a spy from the Divine Devil Hall, and became even more dissatisfied with the Divine Devil Hall. At this moment, Yuanji braced himself and reported, Master Liao Wu of the Zen sect is here. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.